What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the stream. Make sure you smash that like button as you're coming in. We have a case to talk about here tonight. Lynette Hooker, overboard in the Bahamas, or the Bahamas. Listen to me, I can't even speak straight. Laugh at me, but no, seriously though, overboard in the Bahamas. This case is very crazy. The husband, mad suspicious. Story don't make sense. So we're gonna dive into that tonight. But make sure again as you're coming in, you smash the like button. I appreciate everybody. I see you, Brian. What's going on? Welcome to the stream. Kimberly says, waiting on you, locked and loaded. I do appreciate that. Gypsy in the building. What is going on, Gypsy? Nice to see you, my friend. Sup to you too. Sup to you too. You said there's a pig island an hour from me. Was trying to see if it was close to Marsh or Harbor in the Bahamas. I gotta make this bigger so I can read. I'm getting old. Its official name, Big Major K. Okay, I see you. What's going on, allegedly, LB? Nice to see you, my friend. Glad to have you in the building here tonight. I appreciate everybody joining again. Make sure you smash that like button. Come in. We're gonna get started. There's a lot to talk about tonight, and for people who really don't, know this case at all, I kind of want to dive into a few things. I'll open up the lines after we go over the things that I want to go over, right? And again, this is the Lynette Hooker case. Obviously, the husband does look very suspicious, but and the call in live number is new. It's not 219-885-9693 no more. It is 757-276-8703. I will have a banner up top soon. But I do want to say welcome everybody. Come in, take a seat. Tonight we're discussing the disappearance of Lynette Hooker. And the case has obviously generated national attention and many unanswered questions. And I do want to go over those tonight. So let's just remember that Lynette Hooker is still the focus of this case, and family members may be watching this coverage. So we'll separate the facts from theory, and we'll kind of go over what we know so far. Lynette Hooker disappeared during a trip in the Bahamas, and according to public reports, she and her husband, Brian Hooker, were traveling by dinghy from shore back to their yacht. Now, Brian had reported that Lynette fell overboard during the trip, and a large search effort followed involving local authorities and the United States Coast Guard. Now, despite extensive search efforts, Lynette has not been found. And then the investigation later expanded beyond a simple missing persons case, right? This case is crazy to me because I don't understand like how you go out to see she falls in the water and you just throw her something and you don't try to help her back in. I mean, I'm diving in the water, bro. But that's just me, you know. I'm diving in the water. Let me add the screen too so I can share this with you. I got to get this and share system audio. Yeah, most definitely. Let me share this real quick. Here we go. Right? We're going to pop this up. This is one of the things. We're not going over this yet. I want to save that. I want to save that. Give me 1 second. But I got a couple things up here that I do want to go over. So, obviously, for the people who don't know, I'm going to get this out the way. A 55-year-old woman vanishes during a short dinghy ride in the Bahamas. Her husband says she fell overboard. Weeks later, investigators say electronic data may match the story he told or may not match the story he told. Now, what happened to Lynette Hooker? Lynette Hooker was reported missing after a nighttime trip on a small dinghy in the Bahamas with her husband, Brian Hooker. Now, according to his account, the couple left Hope Town around 7:30 p.m. They were heading to their yacht, Soulmate. He claimed the rough weather caused Lynette to go overboard, and he said she had the boat key with her when she fell into the water. Now, he reported that strong currents carried her away. And is this the actual original one? Let me pull it up real quick. When Lynette Hooker was reported missing on April 5th, her husband, Brian Hooker told police that she had fallen overboard while they were on a boat trip in the Bahamas. But days later, he was taken into custody, raising new questions about what happened to the Michigan mom at sea. Now, Brian's lawyer, Terrell A. Butler, said in a statement to the people that what did he say? Hold up. He has been cooperating with the relevant authorities since his wife disappeared. Okay. Though it's unclear why he was arrested, Lynette's daughter, Carly, previously claimed that prior issues were brought to her attention. Now, if this truly was an accident, I can understand and live with it, said the daughter. Now, however, there needs to be an intensive review of the facts and circumstances of this tragic incident before that can be determined. At the time, Hopetown Volunteer Fire and Rescue Team leader Richard Cook told the people that officials don't suspect foul play at the moment, but Brian, through his lawyer, also explicitly rejected the daughter's allegations. So what happened to Lynette Hooker? And here's everything that obviously we need to know about it. So I'm gonna pop back over to my notes here. I don't know, like this is weird to me. It's super weird. It is. It's super weird. Let me pull up this clip of the husband talking real fast. Let me pull this up. Where's it at? 1 second, y'all.
People are building things in America.
Why is it playing an ad? I don't want no ad.
Again.
This reference clip that I got right here.
Which calls for
Stupid
the best
ad
of
for
America.
26 seconds. 1 second. I'm gonna read some comments too while I'm waiting on that. What's going on? You said, yo, you said that fucker in the ad made me jump. Damn. What's going on, Texas? Welcome to the stream. I appreciate you coming in. Sandra in the building tonight. Midlife wannabe. Glad you're back, buddy. I'm back every night. We just got off. You look great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Lock your doors, Low 12 said. Bribe, what's going on, my brother? Nice to see you. I appreciate you guys in the building tonight. Clap it up for yourself if you're here. I do appreciate you. Lock your doors. That's a fact. You said sending love to all the Rev gang. You look great. Definitely murder mystery with this one for sure. T-REV, the true crime king, is back. NC, the truth says. I appreciate that. Don't put too much pressure on me now. Trying to make me crumble. But I do want to go over the timeline, right? So April 4th, 2026, the couple leaves Hopetown. Alleged overboard incident occurs on the April 4th of 2026. Now, Brian says Lynette disappears in rough water. In early April 5th, Brian arrives back on shore around 4 a.m. and authorities are notified. Now, April 8th, Brian is arrested and questioned by Bahamian authorities. April 13th, released without charges. An investigation obviously continues. On May through June, Coast Guard investigation expands, and electronic evidence reportedly points investigators toward new search areas, and GPS data allegedly raises questions about the timeline. Now, what's going on with this guy, and why would why would your story not add up? Especially when your wife fell into the water. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It stinks of foul play. Allegedly, if you haven't heard it from law enforcement, it's obviously not true, or they say it's not true, but use your mind here, free thinking. Don't listen to what people try to push on you. I just want to go over the things that are put out, and we can kind of like say, hey, I think this might have happened, or, give it a little bit of light and keep pushing her story out there until her voice is found, because obviously her voice has been lost within this whole thing, and it's getting a little bit messy. So questions that the people keep talking about that I've seen is, was it an accident? Was this a tragic accident? Was it nighttime conditions? Was it rough weather? Small 8-foot dinghy, right? Strong currents were reported, and they're saying that it was super crazy out there within the waters. Now, do you believe a boating accident is most likely the explanation here, or is it something deeper than that? Did they get in an argument while they were out? Did they get in a fight? Was there, did he try to strangle her? Allegedly, there was some other incidences, and we're going to kind of dive into those too on this Nancy Grace video that I have right here. I pulled up 2 decent little videos where she, interviewed and talked to a few people. And I'm going to play a little bit of that before we open up some lines and maybe hear from a few people, because I definitely want to pick your brain and see where you're at with it. Or what do you think? What do you bring to the table on the conclusion of what happened to Lynette Hooker? Because obviously she's not found. She's still missing right now, and her family wants to know where she's at. And I think that's the most important thing here. So also, why has the investigation continued so aggressively, right? Coast Guard involvement, vessel seized, dinghy seized, new search areas based on electronic evidence, which they got from his phone, right? What do investigators appear to be looking for? Obviously a body, in my opinion. But what do you think? What are they looking for? I think it's the body. And what role should the GPS and digital evidence play within this case? Authorities reportedly found inconsistencies between device data and statements, right? They found those. And hold up. Let's see this video. Let me play it real quick. A reference video to what I just read. Excuse me. 13 more seconds. I'm going to pop this one up, and we're going to listen to it real quick before I move on down this timeline and kind of go over facts gathered, is what they say, right? I don't know about, there's not too much facts within this. A lot of it's opinion. So we got to pay attention to what's out there.
For Lynette Hooker, the missing American whose husband says fell off their dinghy in the Bahamas. The 55-year-old mother has been missing since April 4th. The U.S. Coast Guard dive team on the water and the beach of an area
Here, let me pull this over here for y'all real quick and show you what I was just
Chat,
looking at.
$2 for 100.
This is what we were just looking at, but hold up. We're going to skip past this ad. Let me see what we talk about. You said in her experience in swimming and living around water, right? You would think she'd be good. He was retired. He was a retired Marine and also didn't help his wife. If you own a boat, you want to take swimming lessons, right? I mean, I naturally knew how to swim when I jumped in that water, boy. I'll tell you that much right now. Leslie and Billy, nice to see you. Appreciate you for joining the stream. If you're just coming in, I need you guys to smash that like button. We are getting back to the streaming full time. I do appreciate everybody's support. All the new members, everybody who's been showing love. It's been serious. I've seen it. I see it all. If you have any information that we need to look at, make sure you hit up revgangtruecrime@gmail.com. I'm going to be changing that email. We're going to have a different one. But for now, if you have anything that we need to look at, make sure you send it over there. Captain Jenks says if she was a good swimmer, would be most likely the husband hit her over the head and threw her in. Right. Did they get in a fight? Were they drinking on there and dude clanked her? Like, I don't know. What's up with these? I feel like we're running across this a lot, right? We're running across these dudes that are overly aggressive with women. Like, what the is going on, y'all? What's going on? Why are a lot of these men thinking they can beat up on women? Like, I don't understand that. I really don't. Like, if it comes to that point, then you need to get your ass up out of there and literally just leave it alone, bro. Seriously. I'm gonna play this though. Let's go back.
In on new areas in the search for Lynette Hooker, the missing American whose husband says fell off their dinghy in the Bahamas. The 55-year-old mother has been missing since April 4th. The U.S. Coast Guard dive team on the water and the beach of an area called Snake Creek, just a quarter mile from the boatyard Brian Hooker says he paddled to the night Lynette went missing. The search resuming after U.S. officials tell ABC News GPS data from the boat Lynette and Brian were on appears to contradict his account of his whereabouts the night she disappeared.
You can see members of the U.S. Coast Guard behind us.
Hey, what's that? What's that thing that one caller said that one time? If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
Oh my God!
Right?
Block his ass.
I mean, that's pretty much that's true here, in my opinion. Like, they are gonna arrest him, U.S. Coast Guard on his ass, just a matter of time. And they're out there searching right now, by the way. Like, supposedly they're out there night and day searching for Lynette, and that's from what I seen 2 days ago. This case is heating up pretty good. They are on his tail the last couple weeks. That's a fact. What's going on? Beaches and Cream. I like that name. Dope name. Do we know how long they were married? Watch out. Let me see that. Do we know how long they were married? 18 years, I thought I seen, but I could be absolutely wrong. That's just me trying to remember here. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure about how long they were married. We just know they were. But I believe it was 18 years. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
In that orange boat, this is one of those areas that had not been previously searched. It's called Lubber's Key, and it's only about 2 minutes away from where the Hooker sailboat, the Soulmate, was anchored.
Lynette's daughter, Carly Aylesworth, says she's hopeful the new developments point investigators in the right direction.
Well, I'm happy they were able to get Brian's location and discover new areas to look. I'm just happy that they were able to find answers that were concrete proof of what happened and doing what they can to search for my mom.
Brian telling authorities the couple encountered bad weather while riding their dinghy to their sailboat off Elbow Key. He claims Lynette fell overboard along with the boat keys. Brian Hooker taken into custody days after his wife disappeared, held by authorities for 5 days, but they let him go without charges.
And I'm going to keep going. I'm not leaving until I'm told to leave or convinced that it's fruitless.
Brian promising to stay and look for his wife during our interview. He left the Bahamas the next day. His Bahamian attorney telling us he wanted to be with his terminally ill mother. 2 months later, Carly remains optimistic.
I just hope you're still out there. I have doubts with how long it's been, but I love you and I hope I can see you again.
Aww.
Carly says that she has not spoken with Brian since the day after her mother went missing.
You know what? We gotta. Where's this at? That's how I feel.
Coast Guard will continue their search today.
Stop the cap. I need to get my shit back on there, so we're good. So I have to get that back. But yes, absolutely, that shit is. It just doesn't make any sense at all. Hello, everyone. Hold on. While I feel like he ran. You feel like he definitely took off at the beginning. There ain't no doubt about that. There ain't no doubt about that at all. He did run. He's not in the Bahamas no more. I'm gonna play this one though because it has these interviews that I want to check out right here. Let's check it out. This was
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable
This. All right, let's play it.
with us.
Here it is, right here. Thanks, no problem.
Brian texted me saying, call me at around 8:30 at night. Brian just said, hey, your mom fell overboard. She's been missing since last night around 7:30. Something is off. Something is sketchy from that phone call. I was just sitting there like, what? How do you lose my mom?
It's not the evidence that Brian did anything wrong.
But I gotta fix this.
It's of evidence to support his story. I'm trying to piece it together with the Brian I know, and it's not working.
Hell
and I
no, it ain't.
really wish he would start talking and explain it so that it makes sense to us.
Somebody lost their daughter and their mother, and now she's still not found. It doesn't make sense to me, and the story doesn't add up. We're still searching for her body, and I do believe like he's the only person that knows the truth.
Yep.
Joining us tonight, Crime Stories investigative reporter Dave Mack. Dave Mack, what more can you tell us?
Nancy, we have an exciting time happening in the Bahamas right now. As this story has been going on for weeks, we've been wondering what really transpired the night of April 4th into the morning of April the 5th. And now we're getting a little bit.
Hold up. Hello, T-REV, long time no see. I hope you ate well. Is that what I miss you, sending healing light to you. Take care. Just stop by to say hi. I appreciate that. Thank you. What's up, everybody? Everybody coming in. Voting is very dangerous. That's a fact. Can't believe I'm watching T-REV right now. Missed everyone so much. Appreciate you, Desiree. Welcome. Make sure you guys are smashing that like button. Share the stream out. We're getting back rolling. It's just heating back up.
Better look. The Coast Guard from the United States of America is now in the Bahamas with a dive team. They are picking areas to dive, and it's amazing how this far into this investigation that we're finally getting that type of movement. Breaking down the digital stuff that Brian Hooker has, comparing it with what he said, there might be some discrepancies. Also, in a shocking update, we find out that on the Soulmate, there is the the digital tracking that shows where a boat is, the speed, and everything else that goes into that. Well, we found out that for 11 hours, beginning around 9:30 p.m., the night of April the 4th, that GPS, the tracker, this was shut off. The Soulmate went totally dark, totally incommunicado from 9:30 p.m. on April the 4th until
be very like this. This is the thing, right? As a publicly reported information available, they're saying that his employment with AT&T was ended because of like manipulating the GPS data. That's kind of sus. It's weird.
8:40 a.m. on April the 5th. So documentation for that time period gone. It's not there. Totally dark during the one time we really need that information. So those are just right off the top of the bat, Nancy. That's what we're looking at as this story has really heated up.
Robert Crispin joining us now, private investigator at Crispin Special Investigations, former federal task force officer, U.S. Department of Justice, DEA, Miami Field Office. It goes on and on and on at crispinsinvestigations.com. Robert Crispin, what do you make of that?
So, as you reported, it's been reported that the GPS data stopped at a certain.
Good evening, everybody coming in. Make sure you smash that like button, share the stream out on all platforms. I need to get on Twitter and share. I need to get back in my bag. I fell off a little bit.
Time and came back on the next morning, plus the statements of Mr. Hooker to law enforcement don't match any data that they recovered prior to that time. And let me explain why that's important. Because the GPS or the Garmins that are on these boats, they lay what's called cookies or a trail. So as you're driving across the ocean or you're going in between the islands, there is a cookie trail behind your boat. And it's how you can turn around and follow your trail back if you get into inclement weather or a zero visibility issue, all you do is follow your track. That track will take you everywhere you've been. People on the East Coast that go to the Bahamas, they use their cookies to cross the ocean to get to the Bahamas to hit that inlet. A lot of inlets in the Bahamas don't have lights. A lot of them at night are pitch black, and those cookies tell you exactly where that boat's been. And you know, boaters or people that operate vessels, especially in the Bahamas or in the open ocean, can see heat, such as another boat that could be in front of them that has no lights on. It's great for when you're in the intercoastal waterway or you're in the surrounding areas of the Bahamas to have it on, because you can see it will actually pick up the heat of a swimmer or a body in front of your boat, and you can move away from that. That device should have been used immediately when she allegedly went overboard. And that FLIR, because the Bahama waters, remember, are very warm, and her body's not going to cool down that quick. That FLIR would have detected her body heat on thermal imaging.
Vanessa Walsh joining us.
Oh no, I personally think that he allegedly, again, if you haven't heard it from law enforcement, it's not true. I'm going to tell you what I think right now. I think old boy was beating on this woman. Allegedly, it's all allegedly. I don't, sue me. Homie straight up was beating on her. Did he put her somewhere else other than the water to deter the detectives and everybody that's searching to be out here in the water while she's gone somewhere else? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense at this point. And that's how I'm looking at it. It doesn't, if it stinks and it smells like shit, it's probably shit. And that's how I feel about this case. It's shit. The homie just needs to come up off of it and say, hey, she was here, instead of just making up all this shit and being caught in lies. Allegedly, if you haven't heard it from law enforcement, it's obviously not true. But Brian Hooker, if you hear this, come the fuck out and tell her, tell everybody where she's at. Be a man. Allegedly. I'm just saying, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate the love. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. I do appreciate that. Much love. I appreciate the support. I'll be back full time. We're gonna be back on it full time. Let me see this too. Membership. I think I have some. Here you go, guys. Here you go. This is for the 5 in chat. I'm gonna give out 5 for you real quick. I got you. Oh, is there another 5? Here you go. You want another 5 here? I'll membership a lot of 5 of y'all too. Here, another 5. Here you go, right here. Ready? Boom. I got you. Gifts for everybody. Gifts for everybody. We gave it out. What's up? We got, yeah, there you go. There you go. I'll give 10 out to you guys real quick. There you go. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You said you only shut off the GPS when your wife is planning on disappearing. Right. Happy to see everyone. I don't know. Like, you shut off the GPS and manipulate it, like you just said, with the wife disappearing. But in general, like, where did he go from that point to where it turned off is the real question. Where did he go to put her? Like, he probably had it in his mind, allegedly. Again, we're discussing theory. None of this is true. It's for entertainment purposes only. But in general, where? So you think she's buried in the sand? Mike, that's actually a good thought. Is she buried in the sand? Is she on, what is it, Soulmate Island? Is that what they called it, babe? Is it Soulmate Island? That's the name of the boat. Soulmate. It was Lover's Island. Okay. So did he bury her on Lover's Island? Yeah. Allegedly. Well, I don't know. I don't know that to be a fact, but I'm just saying in general. Good evening to you too. What's going on? I miss these lives, allegedly, LB said. Hey, I miss being here with y'all, and I'll get back to doing it full time. We'll start running a live damn near every day again. Unmasked True Crime, who has dedicated weeks and weeks of investigation into Lynette's. As long as you keep on watching, I'm gonna keep on dropping. So smash that like button, share the stream out, join the conversation when the lines open up. I mean, come up on panel. I don't know. I mean, whatever we want to do, whatever discussions we want to have, we're gonna do that. We're gonna rock out and do that. You're very welcome. You are very welcome. Disappearance, Vanessa. What more can you tell us?
So what's so significant to me is that investigators state that they believe that they were searching the wrong area based on information that was given to them originally. And to me, that's very significant because investigators don't typically move major search operations unless they believe that the evidence justifies it. So the key thing for me here is that investigators changed the search because the evidence changed the search. From what we know, authorities have not released the exact coordinates of where the search has changed to, but we do know that they are searching a previously unsearched area of the Sea of Abaco. And investigators have reportedly identified the location through electronic and GPS evidence from Brian's digital devices and electronic devices. So the Coast Guard has divers, they have underwater search equipment, and they've got multiple resources available to look for whatever I think can help them get to the answers, whether that's Lynette herself or any kind of evidence that can help lead them to what happened to her that night. I think for me, finding out that they're going to these never searched areas, I can't say that I'm surprised with that because from the very beginning, many of us had a lot of questions with those recorded statements that were released. And he had a very specific story with very specific locations. And the fact that they're back out in new locations tells me that we were correct from the very beginning, that the story just doesn't line up. It doesn't make sense. And even
Brian Hooker has previously been detained for questioning into Lynette's disappearance. However, he remains innocent until proven guilty. I mean, we know that, but I would like to know like why they actually went and arrested old boy. Like what was the reasoning for them to go and do that? Like why would they grip him up? Obviously she's, disappeared, etc. But what made them initially, we're going to grip this dude up and we need to talk to him. Something's weird here. That's kind of how I'm looking at that. I don't know. Something's up with it. And obviously he's not saying too much because he's not in jail. Right. And one, he's not probably throwing himself under the bus, but they're seeing these inconsistencies as they're being reported.
Timeline from the very beginning with it not being dark, with the depth of the water being allegedly, 4 to 11 feet deep. I think for me, the most significant thing is his original statements that he gave to multiple sources, by the way, did not line up with what investigators ultimately found when they reviewed his electronic devices.
Hi, guys. American homeowners. The FBI has national and financial night promo code $9 million to fix
Nancy,
it.
We love you, but I got to see this.
Special guest.
Get to it.
That we have seen from afar, we have prayed for, we have thought about during all these days that her mother, Lynette, has been missing. Carly Ellsworth joining us tonight. Carly, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I've got so many questions for you. But I'll just start at the beginning. When did you learn your mom was missing? How did you find that out?
Brian texted me saying, call me at around 8:30 at night. My grandma called me prior to that, but I was napping, so I didn't pick up. But then he said, call me. I said, two of my family members need me to call.
Yeah, I seen that, Angelica. Actually, my baby was telling me about that channel that they have. It's the Selling Hookers, like you just said. I never went and checked it out personally. I haven't went and looked at it, but we could dive into all of that. He said, I don't believe what Brian says. Asshole pointed them in the wrong direction, wasted the search time.
Call them. Something is happening. So I answered and I put it on speakerphone and Steve was right next to me and he heard the whole thing too. And Brian just said, hey, your mom fell overboard. I threw her a life preserver, but I don't know if she got it. She's been missing since last night around 7:30. And Steve immediately stood up and was like, something is off. Something is sketchy from that phone call. And I was still in shock. I was just sitting there like, what? How do you lose my mom?
Carly, you stated just then that Brian Hooker, your mom's husband, it's your stepfather, right?
Yep.
You stated he said he threw her a life preserver.
Yeah. And it's not even a life preserver. It's something that you kneel on or sit on. It's like for gardening, it's something you kneel on and it doesn't keep a 150-pound person afloat. So it's not technically a life preserver.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's why when you said, he said he threw her a life preserver, because to my memory, and I don't have any notes about it in front of me, he said he threw her a seat cushion.
It does.
But he told you he threw her a life preserver?
Yeah.
And look, I've dived all over the world. Before I had the twins, I gave it up because I thought it was too dangerous. But you're right, Carly. A seat cushion can be that thick. That is not going to hold anybody up in the water.
As we're watching, I'm going to open this up too. 757-276-8703 if you have any thoughts. I want to hear from you. What's your thoughts on this case?
Water, much less in waves, he said, had started.
Yeah, exactly.
But he told you life preserver when y'all were talking.
Yeah, and it was supposedly found like 400 feet from the dinghy when it washed up to shore, when he washed up to shore in Marsh Harbor. So I don't know. It's just all subjective at the moment.
That's really interesting, Carly. Now, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. But could you explain why you don't think that's true?
I don't believe that it would wash up right next to you, but my mom suddenly washed the other way. It just doesn't make sense.
Exactly. That's my thinking. I mean, I'm no tide and wave and current expert, but if he washed that way and the dinghy washed that way and the seat cushion washed that way, then why didn't she wash that way?
Right.
And your mom was an experienced sailor. She knew what to do if she fell overboard.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And where she fell in at, Steve and I went and retraced their steps that day, and she could have swam a couple feet to the side up to shore and stood up in the water. It was really shallow. It's like a giant sandbar in between the islands. So I'm just wondering, why was she swimming away from the dinghy, and why didn't she try to get back on it? Why did she grab the key on her way out? It doesn't make any sense.
See, that's
right. And Matt, you said, Angelica said, in my opinion, in most on the island, she made it back to soulmate, and whatever happened was there, and he took her somewhere else. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the daughter did say there was weights missing from the boat. So if the weights are missing, 2 + 2 = what? 4? So I mean, were they? They were diving weights. Kind of reminds me of Kylie Rodney. Remember how that y'all in the Kylie Rodney case, for the people who follow Kylie Rodney, there was weights found under the water when we got onto that search map that we got onto when we were digging into that case. I know some of y'all remember if you were here with me with that. That was crazy. And the fact that there's weights missing is even more crazier.
Another thing we've been talking about, and I'm so glad you brought it up, Carly. So let's just go with your stepfather's story, Brian Hooker's story, that she, quote, bounced off the dinghy. I still don't know how she bounced off, but I'll get to that. You're saying if she fell in,
probably not
in the spot where he described, hey, let's see that control room, let's see that map that he sent. Instead of being out looking for Lynette, he was on the phone gabbing with friends for hours on end, putting his story out there and sending maps. I mean, if my child or husband fell overboard, I would not be on a conference call on speaker with my friends trying to get my story out. I'd be looking. But you're here.
Mike says, how do you wash up on shore without the love of your life? I'm telling you, I was saying this before. I was like, damn it, babe, if you fell in, I would have died with you trying to, like, if I couldn't have got you on whatever I threw to you, I'd diving in. Fuck it. You got to lay it out on the line, bro. But I think that's bullshit anyways, to be honest with you. He said, oh, I missed that. Oh, my God. Good to have you back, T-REV. I appreciate you, Lorraine. Nice to see you, by the way. I definitely remember you being in chat plenty of times.
Carly Aylesworth, this is Lynette's daughter, her only biological daughter, and she's speaking there. Look, Carly's saying that where her mom allegedly fell off the dinghy, she only would have to swim a few feet and stand up on a sandbar. That's all she had to do. Is that what you're saying, Carly?
Yep, pretty much. And they found 2 life jackets in the dinghy when he washed up to shore. So why he didn't put one on and then jump in to go give her the other one doesn't make sense to me either.
See, I did not know that. Carly, that's important. There were 2 life jackets still on the dinghy, unused?
Yep.
Do you know where they were? Were they in plain view? Were they in a chest, a safety chest? Where were they?
Right.
They were just out on the floor.
Talk to us.
Oh, my star.
757-276-8703. What are your thoughts on Lynette Hooker? Let's hear from you. I mean, you can call in. I did change the number. I seen some people trying to call the old number last night. I'm like, oh, damn. Don't be calling the old number. Again, it's 757, and it's at the bottom of your screen. You can see it.
Oh, okay. Wait. There's 2 life vests lying in the floor, and he did not throw one to her and put one on and jump in?
Yeah, his thought was to throw the seat cushion to her. He's an ex-Marine. I feel like he should be more on his toes when these type of situations.
I'm just trying to take in, in 3 minutes, I've already learned more from you than I have from him in weeks. Okay, let me get back to, you're just giving me so much information and none of it is good for him. 2 life vests right there in the dinghy?
My stepsister, his daughter, Rosie, she told me that she asked him if they were fighting when this all happened and he didn't respond.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to have to start a flow chart. I'm getting so much information. Hold on. So Brian Hooker tells his bio child, Rosie, well, he didn't tell her anything. She asked, were you arguing at the time? And he said nothing.
Yeah.
What else did he say to Rosie?
He didn't, I don't think he said much to her. He mostly talked to us in a group chat with her, just us 3, and was like, I wish I could be there for you guys, but I have to be here searching for her. Yeah. This lady can take care of you guys. So that's, I don't know how much she's talked to him because she's still distraught because she was close to my mom too. So she doesn't want to believe he did anything to her because that's her dad. So I get that. But at the same time, with what we know, it's just not adding up.
With us tonight, Carly Ellsworth. This is Lynette Hooker's only biological daughter. I do not know how you have the composure. I admire it to speak. I wonder if you're in a state of shock. Do you believe there's any chance your mom is still alive?
Right.
There's still a string of hope that she's just on an island somewhere, living it up, needing a break from life. So without a body, it's kind of hard.
That's not happening. She's not. She ain't out there. You said, I remember Kylie Rodney was the first case. That's a fact. Most definitely. You said, let Nancy G have 10 minutes alone with this loser.
For me to have much closure right now, I still have so many questions as to what happened. A lot of what ifs.
It was.
Why did that happen? Why did not this happen? It's just hard.
I'm glad you have your boyfriend Steve with you. What was his reaction when your dad, your stepfather, called and told you your mom's missing? And let's say he said that happened at 7:30 the night before. And when did he call you?
9:30 the next day at night.
9:30 a.m.?
p.m.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, hold on. So we're talking about 26 hours later?
Yep.
That's why I was thinking he was such a shallow water.
Did you ask him why he waited over a day to let you know?
I was in shock when he called me, so I didn't really say much. I was like, okay, just trying to soak it all in. But as soon as I got off the phone, Steve got up and was like, that was sketchy. Something's off. So.
Okay, can you tell me one more time exactly what he said on that 9:30 p.m. call the day after your mom went overboard? What exactly did he say?
He called me and was like, hey, your mom fell overboard. I tried to throw a life preserver to her, but I don't know if she got it. She drifted the other way, so I paddled to shore. And he said he washed up to shore at like 4:30 in the morning, the next morning. And then he's like,
oh, man, that don't make no sense, bro. She paddled up to shore.
But we're going to come up and see you soon. So we're hoping that we're going to see you. And I was like, okay. And then he started talking about it again and quickly hung up on the phone. And I was like, what just happened? And then Steve got up like, that was sketchy. That was like, that doesn't add up. Like, and he was also trying to console me, but he was also like, that, I don't believe the story as soon as he said it. So it was sketchy from the start.
So he says she fell in. He threw her a life preserver. She went one way and he paddled the other way?
Yeah. And it took him 9 hours to get to shore to Mars Harbor.
He said he paddled the other way away from your mother.
Because the wind was pushing it, I guess.
Okay, I just want to make sure. He said he paddled the other way?
He just paddled with the wind, which is the other direction that she supposedly drifted away. So I guess
to him.
Shout out to everybody coming in. Make sure you smash that like button. We're just getting turned up here tonight. I'm looking at a few of these things that are going on within this case. Again, if you're just coming in, smash that like button, share the stream. We're just getting started. I just got off work. So again, for the people that are just coming in, I do want to again go over the timeline here of this and what happened and give a synopsis of like just the whole story. So again, a 55-year-old woman vanishes during a short dinghy ride in the Bahamas, and her husband says she fell overboard. Weeks later, investigators say electronic data may not match the story that he told, and what happened or about what happened to Lynette Hooker. Now, Lynette Hooker again was reported missing after a nighttime trip on a small dinghy in the Bahamas with her husband. Brian Hooker, according to his account, the couple left Hopetown around 7:30 p.m. They were heading to their yacht, Soulmate, and he claimed rough weather caused Lynette to go overboard. And he said she had the boat key with her when she fell into the water. He reported that strong currents carried her away, and authorities launched a major search involving Bahamian agencies and the U.S. Coast Guard. The case later evolved into a criminal investigation, right? So again, I do want to go over that timeline one more time before we finish looking at this. Is the interview with her daughter, by the way, that I had playing, and I'm kind of just going over a few things that are put out there because allegedly there was some DV and things like that that just make it a little bit more weird. But on April 4th of 2026, a couple leaves Hopetown. Alleged overboard incident occurs, and Brian says Lynette disappears in rough water. Now, early April 5th, Brian arrives back on shore around 4 a.m. and authorities are notified. Now, April 8th, Brian is arrested and questioned by Bahamian authorities. And April 13th, released without charges. Investigation obviously continued. Now, from May to June, Coast Guard investigation expands, and electronic evidence reportedly points investigators towards new search areas. Now, GPS data allegedly raises questions about the timeline, and that's kind of what they've been honing in on. Now, was this simply a tragic accident? I don't think so. Nighttime conditions, rough weather, small 8-foot dinghy, strong currents reported. Do you believe a boating accident is the most likely explanation? I say no. I say no. Allegedly. Well, back to that. I just wanted to give that synopsis for people who are coming in. Make sure you hit the like button, share the stream out. We're just getting launched.
9 hours.
Yeah. So to him, the current was going one way, but the wind was going the other way. But I talked to a captain there, and when I went to the Bahamas, and they said that they swam where he paddled in 2.5 hours. So the fact that it took him 9 hours doesn't add up.
What happened after that phone call with your stepfather? When did you hear from him again?
Immediately after the phone call, I called my dad, and I was like, "You will never believe the news I just got." He's like, "I'm sure I can," because my grandma called him because she couldn't get a hold of me, and he's like, I was like, "My mom's missing," and he goes, "I know." And we talked about it for a minute, and he was like, I wasn't.
Craig, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Your mom's #1 fan, but this is messed up. Like, I care about her because that's your mom. So it was, yeah, that's immediately what I did after.
When did you hear from him again, Carly?
He left me some voicemails saying that they found the life preserver that he threw to her and that they can search a smaller area now, and left me a couple texts for the group chat with Rosie and I, but I haven't responded. I don't plan to respond right now with the facts that I have and my gut feeling.
So after that, you were included on some group texts. What did they have to say?
He was just saying how he wishes he could be there for us and that we'll get through this. This lady to take care of us if we need to. And just that he needs to be there right now searching.
What do you make of that evening's events? I guess that you're learning about through the media that they went to have dinner at the inn, that they had drinks there, that they left around 7:30, almost immediately when they got in the dinghy. The waves kicked up to 2 or 3 foot swells, and that shallow area that she, quote, bounced off the dinghy and was never seen again. What part of that does or does not make sense to you?
Well, the Atlantic side, I could see having that big of waves because I was there and I saw the waves are pretty big. But on the leeward side, it's like glass. It's not even no waves. And there's a channel that you go down because the boats need to be deep enough. And so, and then it's only like so wide. It's like 50 feet wide, 20, I don't know, not that wide. And she could have swam to the side and stood up. It's only a couple of feet outside the channel. So
it's another reason why his story don't make no sense. If you could, you know what I mean? Like current or not, like if you can get up and stand, and I don't know. Homie's story just don't make sense at all.
I don't see how there could have been that big of waves. Yes. And she used to run all the time, ran a half marathon and a 25K. So she was pretty fit. She could swim. They've done this for 10 years. So she knows all about the water. So
when was the last time you actually spoke to your mom?
Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Friday around dinner time.
And what did she have to say? What was her frame of mind?
We hold mics around
She seemed fine to me. I asked her for advice and she was helping me with that. So you were just Yeah. She more confided in my grandma about like relationship problems and money and all that. So she only tells me like when she thinks she's going to break up with him and leave him. But yeah.
Carly, tell me about, if you know about them, their relationship
like
and
old
money
times.
problems.
So
It feels like old times. We just sparking back up.
I know that they don't touch my mom's retirement right now because she's not 59 and a half. So they've been taking out of Brian's. So I don't know how much he has. I don't know like what his financials are. I know my mom has life insurance, but it's only $15,000 from AT&T where she retired. So I don't know if they took out another life insurance. I asked my lawyer, but he's looking into it. So
they're living, all of your mom's retirement is sitting there?
Yeah, she has like well over 600K.
Yeah, that she has built up over all the time that she worked at AT&T.
Yeah, and like the last 2 years she was working, or a few years, she was dumping like $1,000 each paycheck every other week into her retirement. So I know it's pretty high.
And another thing about that, Carly, is I think AT&T has a plan where they match not the full amount you put in, but up to a certain percentage, like 5% or 10%. They match what you save. A lot of big corporations have that. So what she was putting in there was matched to some extent, most likely by AT&T, and that really adds up. $2,000 a month.
What was it? The Coast Guard or somebody else? Like swimmers are out there looking in the area where his phone pinged. I wonder what they're gonna find. I know eventually they're gonna come across something. Wasn't it? Didn't they find a shirt or something
from her? And then just
look it up.
Let's say $800 to $1,000 from AT&T a month. The whole time she's banking it in that retirement plan. That's a lot of money saved up. So well over $500,000.
Hold on, there's some new information I see right here that was just talked about 6 hours ago. Mother of missing woman says investigation is not over. And hold on, let me pull this up here. Let me look at this here. Read this out to y'all real quick for those just coming in. It says nearly 8 weeks after Lynette Hooker vanished in waters off Abaco, her mother said she remains convinced the investigation is not over. And even after a recent United States Coast Guard search failed to recover her daughter's remains, Darlene told Ashley Banfield's Drop Dead Serious podcast that the Coast Guard's multi-day operation in Abaco marked progress in the case and showed authorities had not abandoned the investigation. I definitely believe the Coast Guard did a heck of a job. Miss Hamlet said, that's her last name. They outdid themselves. So I'm not disappointed in what they had done. I'm pleased with what they have done. I don't think it's over. The Coast Guard recently concluded a search in Abaco involving divers, investigators, and support personnel. Miss Hooker's remains were not found, and Brian Hooker, Mrs. Hooker's husband, has not been charged with any offense and remains presumed innocent. Miss Hamlet's husband, Bill Hamlet, said the Coast Guard's involvement reinforced his belief and investigators had enough evidence to continue scrutinizing the case. And I'm not disappointed, Mr. Hamlet said. In fact, I'm happy they were there because it shows that they believe, like we believe, that there was foul play. Now, there is enough, he said, there's enough meat on the bone that it bears looking at Miss Hooker, 55, disappeared on April 4th while traveling in an 8-foot dinghy near Elbow Cay in Abaco. Mr. Hooker told authorities his wife fell overboard during the journey and was swept away by currents after the vessel lost power. The Royal Bahamas Police Force, United States Coast Guard, and local volunteers launched an extensive search before the matter shifted from a search and rescue effort to a recovery operation. The United States Coast Guard later opened a criminal investigation into the circumstances surrounding Miss Hooker's disappearance, and Mr. Hooker was arrested by Bahamian police on April 8th and questioned in connection with the investigation before being released without charge. His attorney has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing and said he has cooperated with investigators. The case has drawn international attention as investigators in the Bahamas and the United States continue to examine evidence. Mrs. Hooker's body has not been recovered, and Mr. Hamlet said he had known Mr. Hooker for about 25 years and believed he was the kind of person who tried to stay ahead of others. And if you ask me, in my personal opinion, I know Brian well enough, Mr. Hamlet said. He's going to be one step or try to be one step ahead of where he thinks you're going to go. And he said he did not expect investigators to find Mrs. Hooker's remains during the recent search. Mr. Hamlet also said that the uncertainty had deeply affected his wife and daughter, Carly. It's draining to cry every hour or so, to see something and just start crying, or to have a thought or see something. Hold on, how did I lose that like that? It just shifted up on me. Let me get back to where I was at before it rudely interrupted me. Oh, Mr. Hamlet said that the uncertainty had deeply affected his wife and daughter, Carly, and it's draining to cry every hour or so, to see something and to just start crying, or to have a thought or see something on TV that causes you to have an emotional outburst. He said it's very taxing. Mr. Hamlet said Mrs. Hooker had been part of his life for 38 years and was much more than a stepdaughter. And also, that was my baby, he said. For 38 years, she's been a daughter to me. She's never missed a birthday or Father's Day. And he said he routinely told Miss Hooker or Mr. Hooker to take care of my baby whenever the couple left. Miss Hamlet said she struggled to reconcile Mr. Hooker's public image as a devoted husband with the circumstances surrounding her daughter's disappearance. This is somebody that was his soulmate for 25 years, and he was going to say or stay there forever until they found her, she said. He said he loved her. Miss Hamlet said part of her still wanted to believe her daughter's disappearance may have resulted from an accident. And I really believe, or at least maybe I just want to believe, that this was an accident. And she said during the interview, Miss Hamlet said she wanted Mr. Hooker's family to be cautious. Mr. and Mrs. Hamlet said they began attending counseling sessions to cope with their grief and uncertainty surrounding the case. I can only imagine. Now, asked whether the family had begun discussing funeral or memorial arrangements, Miss Hamlet said they were not ready. We know we have to do that, she said. That's all I can say on that for now. Miss Hamlet said her focus remained unchanged, and I don't think it's over, she said. I'm not going to go away until I find my daughter. Nah, I feel for her on that big time, for sure. And that was from earlier today. I guess they were on a podcast, so I kind of wanted to go over what they had spoke about, but her mother had spoken out. So,
yep. And I assume that Brian Hooker, is the recipient of that upon her death.
So my grandma said my mom wanted to change the beneficiary to me from the last time they broke up 2 years ago, but she doesn't know if my mom ever got around to doing that.
There have been reports that he took out a $250,000 life insurance policy before your mom went missing. Do you know anything about that?
I do not. I asked my lawyer if he could look into it, but I haven't heard from him yet because I asked him on the weekend. So I think he's still looking into it. I still have to check back up with him.
Summertime expense front fees, American financing. This is Brian Hooker's friend. He is a boating expert, and his wife is very, very close with Lynette. Oops. Mr. Stevenson, thank you for being with us. What do you make of this?
What I make from all of the reports that have come out is that there are people in the area. There were people overlooking the area.
I appreciate everybody that's saying nice to see me again. To keep it up, we're gonna come back full time and do this. You know, we starting from the ground and we're gonna work it all the way back up. So shout out to everybody who's been rocking with me. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn them notification bells on, because we're about to get back cooking 2 nights in a row. Can we go 3 tomorrow? Let's get past this one first. Appreciate you, Teddy. Clap it up for yourself. I appreciate everybody in the building.
I've gotten calls from people who talk about different weather conditions in support and against his claim. But what we do know is there were people in the area. I do know that a human yelling is louder than any splash I've ever heard. So my problem is an hour of him yelling for his wife isn't heard, but a splash is in the same general vicinity. My problem is that he floated over to Marsh Harbor in the same weather conditions within 3 hours of the same amount of time of that flotation device, which doesn't have the same windage as his boat, ending up within 300 feet of where he was. But nothing from Lynette ends up in the same spot. It's not the evidence that Brian did anything wrong. It's the absence of evidence to support his story.
She basically just bounced off the dinghy in the middle of a little blow, like 20-some knot winds that popped up, and on a half-mile maybe trip back to the dinghy, and single thing failed. Every single thing. We weren't wearing life jackets. It was sundown, and the sun set like basically 10 minutes after she fell over. dinghy key over with her because it wasn't clipped to anything or anybody. And she had the spare dinghy key in her dry bag, which was with her. Yeah, it was inflated. Inflated because it was folded, but
there we go.
The wind blew us apart so fast that I think she tried to swim back to the sailboat, back to our sailboat, which was probably, I don't know, 1,000 yards or something. But the waves were 3 foot, and I was trying to ship the oars, and one of the pins on the oars broke and that bird dropped over the side. And I was yelling for her the whole time.
Hold up, Craig said, can a boat float one way and a body the other way? That's a good question. That is a good question. It seems like you have a great team here, Trev. I do. Shout out to everybody who's been rocking. We're just turning back up, man. I'm getting the cobwebs off my back and finna kick these doors down. Again, I'm in the true crime community. You already know what time it is. The Rev Gang family is here to stay, baby. Again, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video out, put it on all platforms. Let's cook.
And I yelled to her that I lost an oar, and I threw the anchor out and anchored the dinghy, and I yelled. I couldn't see her anymore. It was the moon had not risen yet.
That is from our friend Vanessa Walsh, the star of Unmasked True Crime. Blaine Stevenson, is that the yelling that you are referring to, that nobody heard that, but they did hear a splash?
Correct. I mean, the time of night, he says it happened at sunset in our community. That's when everybody's on the back of their boat. If you're home, if you're a live aboard, if you're in the area, that's the best time to be outside because you're not getting beat by the sun. You're not getting, it's dinner time. That's sundowner time. If you're out at that time. The time, if I had to pick a time for a tragedy to happen on the water in an anchorage, I would pick that time because you're most likely to get help. You're most likely to be heard. You're most likely to be seen. So the fact that he screamed for an hour,
I appreciate that.
We have no reports of that 5 weeks in, but we have reports of people who are up and around and on land far enough away from Soulmate, but could still hear a splash. I'm trying to piece it together with the Brian I know, and it's not working.
This is his own friend saying this too. I'm trying to piece it together with the Brian I know, but he's not. That's my wife. Right? I don't know. That's weird. Hold on, where's it at? Let me see.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Let that man cook.
Really wish he would start talking and explain it so that it makes sense to us.
Blaine, have you asked him?
No, he's blocked everything on social.
I do appreciate it. Warren Newcroft said, does the husband look like a creep in every available video? Tell him again.
Let that man cook.
Social media.
Another thing we think about him. Hold on. Another thing we think about him is, where's it at? I gotta hit this one real quick. Hold up. It's right about
fucking
Brian, let's go to the Bahamas and look together. Right? The easiest way to shut up all the haters, as you call them in comments, is let's grab me, you, Dan. Let's grab the whole team. Let's go find your wife. Let's get closure. There's no reason for me to be on a computer and you to be where you are. Let's be in the Bahamas and let's go find Lynette.
Blaine Stevenson, do you think he'll take you up on it?
I hope so. The Brian I knew would have. This guy I've seen for the last 5 weeks, I don't know what that guy would do. But the Brian I knew would bring the people together, go fight the cause, and go get the answers. And if in the process it clears his name, great.
Oh, my God.
I don't want Brian to be guilty. I just can't mathematically make it work.
Why would his friend be saying this about him? And, you figure your friend would have his back, but he's basically saying, look, the same morals that he stood on, he ain't standing on now.
And I think that's the misconception is nobody is going after Brian because they want to go after Brian. Everyone's going after Brian's story because it's not working. When was the last time a body went missing in the water in the Bahamas and was not recovered in the Abaco area? So yeah, the mathematics behind this is where Brian is a man of science. Brian taught me a lot about boating. The longer we go and a dry bag has not been found on shore, the longer we go and a blue Columbia jacket has not washed up, the longer we go, we get more information, we get more speculation. What we don't get is any more confirmation of his story.
You mentioned 2019. Why?
So I was trying to figure out, I want to believe Brian. I want to understand so that I can keep my wife safe. I want to make sure that the cascade of failures that he went through, we don't go through. But I can't find a scenario that fits anybody falling off a boat and their body not being recovered in that area. There is an incident in 2019 where a gentleman left his fishing boat and was never found again. But even that report shows like the gas tanks were tampered with or something. So there was some jinky stuff with that one. But the search and rescue guys, when they're being interviewed, everybody who's being talked to, this just doesn't happen there. And I do believe all the sailors who say anything can happen at sea. I've been a part of it. Brian got me through a hurricane. But it doesn't fit the terrain, and it doesn't fit the night. It doesn't fit the time of his story.
You stated that you have a mathematical issue. You can't mathematically make his story work. And I agree with you. What I would like to happen is that we find Lynette alive. I don't think that's going to happen. I hate to put that out there and in the search for her alive. But
I forgot to pin this. Like, I see y'all got to tell me when I don't do stuff like this. My bad. I'm slacking already. I need to put this in chat. Hold on. Let me pin this at the top. Here we go. I got you guys right here. Boom. Why did it do that? There we go, right? We're going to hit this. And let me pin this so you guys can see it, because this is the new one. A lot of people were trying to call the old one. Debbie said it's almost July. It's hot everywhere. It definitely is hot.
I think she would have been in contact with her daughter by now if she were alive and if she could reach her, which makes me go to the next logical step, is that she is dead and I'm examining his story. And I want him to be telling the truth. I don't want him to be guilty as well, but his story doesn't add up to me. So what about it? You can't mathematically make it work. 2 and 2 is not equaling 4. What is the issue that concerns you the most?
The issue that concerns me the most is we do know that the weather, like the lawyer said, at some point that evening got bad. We have people that I trust that were boating in the area that report, hey, the weather got squirrely that night. But the Sea of Abaco and the Ampats Anchorage and that area is completely different, right? So I talked to a gentleman who owns a house on Elbow Cay, and it looks out over the Sea of Abaco, and he said, yeah, it got pretty choppy out there, but that's over where that yellow line is in your picture, not over where the red arrows are in between the two land masses. And if the weather and wind was that bad and he's in a dinghy and the wind is blowing him to Marsh Harbor, the time frame to get to Marsh Harbor doesn't add up to me. And the fact that when search and rescue was out 3 hours later, they see the green float he threw. How does the float within 3 hour time frame of the dinghy? It to end up within 300 yards of each other, or 300 feet of each other, as he says. I went out and I tried this. I threw a dry bag off of my boat and I seen how fast I separated from it. And a dry bag has more windage than that green float. And my dinghy drifted away from it at a rapid pace. For both of them to end up in Marsh Harbor within 3 hours of each other, the math isn't mathing.
Also with us, Jordan Plintz, a neighbor of Lynette and Brian Hooker. Jordan lives across the street from Brian and Lynette. Jordan, thank you so much for being with us tonight, along with Vanessa Walsh. What was the nature of their relationship, Jordan?
It's their mom's house that lives across from me, but they stay here in the off season.
All right, so this is a neighbor.
When they're not sailing. So I know them in this neighborhood. We kind of grew up together for years. Everyone has lived here for years. Like, my family's been on this lake for 80 years. But they would live here when their mom would go to Florida when they're not sailing. But the nature of their relationship, like I said in the Detroit news when I just woke up from a night shift, I said, I'm not surprised, because I knew from her mom, there was some domestic violence going on, a pattern of it. And there was a time, I think 2 years ago, she let me know that Lynette was staying at her house to kind of get away from that relationship, right? So she stayed there for a few months, and then she ended up getting back with Brian, from my understanding. But I never really dug into it as much. They stored their truck in my backyard. Their car is across the street. But, I knew that something was going on from her mom, Darlene. And right now, I think it's tough because you want to support the family and trying to find Lynette, because it doesn't make sense, right? Where we grow up, everybody is a good swimmer. We spend every hour we can in the summer on the lake. Even Lynette grew up here, and it just doesn't make sense.
You're saying, Jordan Plants, it doesn't make sense because Lynette is such a great swimmer and spends a lot of time on the water. You don't believe it would have happened like this? What?
No, she grew up sailing. I mean, even with her dad, even as a kid, she was sailing. They have a sailboat, her mom does, in the garage that they practice sailing on before they could walk. So it doesn't make sense to me, and the story doesn't add up. And it's tough because, somebody lost their daughter and their mother, and now she's still not found.
Jordan Plants, I want you to listen very carefully to the sound that we have obtained from Vanessa Walsh, who is with us, the star of Unmasked True Crime. Here is the husband's explanation. It's long, it's rambling, it's circuitous, but it's very probative. See if this rings true.
Hold up, y'all. For everybody who just came into it, I know some people I don't know this case. Well, again, hold on, let me pop this up. Let me pull myself up here real quick. again, what you're watching, this way, that way, right? I do want to cook for 1 second. On April 4th of 2026, 50-year-old Lynette Hooker was living what many people would consider a dream life, and she and her husband, Brian Hooker, had sold their home years earlier and spent their days sailing through the Caribbean aboard their sailboat, Soulmate. Now, they documented their adventures online, sharing sunsets, tropical islands, and what appeared to be a happy retirement. That's on the YouTube channel. You can check out the Sailing Hookers, right? Isn't that the name of the channel? The Sailing Hookers. So, but on a warm evening near the Abaco Islands in the Bahamas, everything changed. According to Brian Hooker, he and Lynette were traveling in a small dinghy when rough conditions caused her to fall into the water. Now, he later told authorities that Lynette had the key, right, to the dinghy's engine when she went overboard, leaving him unable to start the motor. And he claimed he could only watch as currents separated them, then paddled himself to shore. I call bullshit.
Oh my God.
Now, it sounds like a tragic accident. At least that's how it began, right? Now, search crews from multiple agencies launched a massive effort in boats were searching, right? Aircraft searched, divers searched, but Lynette was nowhere to be found. The investigators then started looking closer, and that's when the story had took a dramatic turn, and authorities arrested Brian Hooker in the Bahamas for questioning, though he was later released without charges, and investigators said they were not satisfied with simply accepting a disappearance as an accident. Now, as the investigation expanded, Lynette's family began speaking publicly, and her daughter revealed allegations from the marriage that may not have that may not have been as ideal as it appeared online. Now, family members claimed Lynette had discussed leaving the relationship and raised concerns about past domestic incidents. Now, these claims added another layer of scrutiny to the case, and although investigators have not publicly concluded what role, if any, of those allegations play in Lynette's disappearance, then came one of the most discussed developments, which investigators reportedly obtained electronic tracking data connected to the sailboat and other devices. Now, according to officials familiar with the investigation, some of the data appeared inconsistent with Brian Hooker's original account of what happened that night, and GPS information allegedly showed movements that investigators considered significant enough to reopen and expand search efforts in new areas of the Sea of Abaco. Now, and there was another detail, and I'm gonna hop into that. Reports indicated that the sailboat's tracking transmission stopped during a crucial period of time on the night Lynette vanished and resumed the following morning. And experts have publicly suggested that understanding exactly why that occurred could be important to determine what happened. Now, by late May and early June, federal investigators had intensified their involvement, and authorities seized the sailboat Soulmate and moved it into Florida for a forensic examination. And investigators plan to search the vessel, extract digital devices, and examine potential evidence that might shed a light on Lynette's disappearance. Now, then came again the biggest development yet. Federal authorities began treating the case as a possible homicide investigation involving an American citizen overseas. Despite that shift, no one has been charged in the connection with Lynette's disappearance, and investigators continue to examine evidence. So where does the case stand today? Lynette Hooker still missing. Her family continues searching for answers. Investigators continue examining digital evidence, vessel data, and forensic information. Coast Guard was just recently out there searching for her, and one question remains unanswered here tonight. Did Lynette Hooker suffer a tragic accident at sea, or did Brian do something to her? That's the question here. And in my opinion, I think he did. Allegedly. If you haven't heard it from law enforcement, it is absolutely not true, but we don't shy away from what our opinion is around here. That's a fact. So back to cooking.
In your mind, Jordan Plants. Okay, let's listen. Hubby caught on tape.
She basically just bounced off the dinghy in the middle of a little blow, like 20-some knot winds that popped up, and on a half-mile maybe trip back to the dinghy, and single thing failed. Every single thing. We weren't wearing life jackets. It was sundown, and the sun set like basically 10 minutes after she fell over. dinghy key were with her because it wasn't clipped to anything or anybody. And she had the spare dinghy key in her dry bag, which was with her. Yeah, it was inflated. Inflated because it was folded, but the wind blew us apart so fast that I think she tried to swim back to the sailboat, back to our sailboat, which was probably, I don't know, 1,000 yards or something. But the waves were 3 foot, and I was trying to ship the oars, and one of the pins on the oars broke and dropped over the side. And I was yelling for her the whole time, and I yelled to her that I lost the oar, and I threw the anchor out and anchored the dinghy, and I yelled. I couldn't see her anymore. It was the moon had not risen yet.
Now you've heard that recorded conversation, and I imagine there will be more. What do you think?
It's kind of hard to digest. I mean, it's sad knowing that she had all the support to leave, didn't leave, and now we're still searching for her body. And I do believe he's the only person that knows the truth. And I think that he needs to stay there until the truth comes out, because Darlene and her daughter Carly deserves that, truthfully. And nothing's going to bring her back, but I think finding a body and then also finding the truth, I think more pressure, we're going to know what really happened to Lynette. And it just breaks my heart for the family. I can't imagine. I'm a mother and losing my daughter. It doesn't matter what age. I feel so heavy for that family, and we're all really close in this community. So it's a hard hit.
Well, Jordan, what can you tell me about the times that Lynette Hooker actually moved out, according to reports, because of domestic violence?
Darlene just kind of let me know, because I kind of watch over the house when she's in Florida. Like, hey, Lynette's going to be there. They're not really getting along. She's moving out. I don't really question it. She didn't really come out of the house much. I mean, if she wasn't working, she would just stay in. It's cold here, so there's not much to do in the winter time. So I didn't really see her as much. I would just check in with Darlene and ask her how she's doing. And then I would see him come randomly one day and I'd be confused. And then she'd be gone. And then they're off sailing again in a sailboat.
Hold up. I'm trying to find this so we can play it. Right here. Here it is. This is the one you were just talking about. Where's it at? So it shows the dinghy route, etc. Where's the actual? Here it is, right here. I gotta skip this. Elbow City, Tahiti. Hold up. Where's the actual 40? That says 40-minute phone call from the husband. That's what I'm trying to find. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. I'm about to find it and play it right now. I do want to hear it.
Podcast. What do you know regarding corroboration of those times Lynette would leave?
So there were a few things I noticed in their social media as far as their posting that could point to some potential red flags leading up to her disappearance. So I went through the Hooker's YouTube channel, post by post.
I've never been to the Bahamas, and honestly, this sounds horrible.
Listen,
I was trying to piece this together, not knowing it was you guys a couple of days ago. So where were you guys coming from and going to? Because that's what I couldn't figure out in any of the Facebook articles I was reading, how to do a grid pattern search.
I don't really understand the currents and tides here. I kind of rely on Hopetown. So
to be out on the water for 10 years not working shit.
And that's called Elbow, spelled L-O-K-C-A-Y.
I do appreciate that comment. Thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate you.
Wants to go back to work, but he is
wrong video. Let's get to this one. I'm playing this phone call. So what you hear is the phone call, Brian Hooker phone call. That's what we are playing right here, right now. Listen.
And we were kind of in the middle of the key, and there's a place called Tahiti Beach. It's really popular here, and it's a beach that dries out at low tide, and so a barge runs up on it and serves drinks all day from there. And there's a lot of manta rays going around your legs and everything, and all of that. And so we really like that spot, and we had been kind of stuck in the harbor for a while, so we were getting out and about, and we had to go to a different island called Great Guanakee to refill our scuba tanks, and it was going all right. And there's been strong easterlies, and that's what you get here is the trades. Basically, we're at the top of the trades, and so we were having basically 20-knot winds steady all day with a couple gusts here and there. And where we were anchored was pretty quiet, but when we came out of this bar called the Abaco Inn, we came out of the channel.
We're going to be over at her house working a good bit tomorrow, so
I capsized my dinghy 2 months ago with 7 people
Late
aboard and
tomorrow
got
would
Coast
be
Guard.
I still, my voice is not all the way back, but I don't know. This is not really a thing. I mean, she has to come back, otherwise I don't.
She's
really
going to
give a
come
fuck
back.
about too much. No.
She's going to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, this sounds horrible to say, and I please hope you understand how I'm saying this. If there's a woman I want to fall off a dinghy and survive, it's going to be Lynette. I just need you to believe that. We've been doing this life the same amount of time you have, maybe a little less, but I haven't met another Lynette out there. Have faith.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's
which is not good. I don't know. The cops call me every couple, about twice or 3 times or something, and I update them where I'm at and things. And
I'm on the dinghy. My name's Brian. Fuck out of here. The fuck is this dude talking about? All I hear is shit. My name's Brian. Fucking beat on my wife and think I'm a bad guy. Fucking pussy. Sorry, I just had a moment. My bad. I'm gonna get back in yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir mode. But my name's Brian and I beat my fucking wife, allegedly. Allegedly, y'all.
but the waves were 3 foot, and I was trying to ship the oars, and one of the pins on the oars broke and that bird dropped over the side. And I was yelling for her the whole time, and I yelled to her that I lost the oar, and I threw the anchor out and anchored the dinghy, and I yelled. I couldn't see her anymore. It was the moon had not risen yet.
Now you've heard that recorded conversation.
That's that one. Let's finish right here. My name's Brian.
The Coast Guard has been pretty on point with assistance.
My name's
Brian.
Brian.
You know that dry bag. Lynette carries a dry bag. She carries all the important shit because I'm not to be trusted with the important shit.
I know that.
I imagine.
We're men.
Hold on. What is it? Here we go.
Yeah.
My name's Brian, and I'm lying about my fucking wife. I can't tell the goddamn truth. Yeah, all right. We know. That's my personal opinion, but you might have a different opinion. Maybe you think the guy is, really telling the truth, but the dude's story smelled like shit, so I don't know. Brian. Fucking Brian, you lame. Allegedly, right?
It's true in your mind.
Next.
Yeah, there's no passports. And the spare dinghy key, I have Jury Rica magnet now for the dinghy key. So I can, my intent is my sister and her husband flew in. Some of my in-laws are here. My intent is to meet with them tomorrow. And, we're updating on Facebook, but my kids are kind of, Lynette has a daughter and I have 3 kids, and they all grew up together these last 25 years. And Arlie's basically catatonic and Rosie's incredibly upset, and they're trying to take care of each other up in Michigan, a couple of 28-year-olds. And
I just can't say where the fuck Lynette's at, so I'm gonna continue to walk off into this conversation about my daughters. Shut the fuck up and just say where she's at. Sorry. It's how I feel. Can't hide it.
Get your family together.
It does.
Yeah, they're together.
100% sounds rehearsed, like bullshit. He's deterring away from the actual conversation at hand, which is Lynette Hooker. He's talking about the daughter living in Michigan, like telling their fucking business. Nobody cares, bro. Where's Lynette? Shut the fuck up. I'm over that. Like it's just corny. Like I don't know. The dude's like because if you went missing, I'm knocking the fucking city down. Anybody in my family goes missing, I'm knocking the fucking city down. Bro, you're over here copping, please, bro. You should be on everything, every platform that you can get your fucking feet on. Excuse my language, yo. I know there's a lot of folks in here that I gotta watch my mouth a little bit, but seriously though, like this dude is lying clearly, allegedly. Again, that's my personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only, so don't fucking crucify me. But again, I'm just speaking what I think, and that's what I do here. Homie's tripping. Like, bro, just say where Lynette's at. You don't got to tell your family's business. My daughter and all this other crazy shit. Like, I'm sorry. It's wild, bro. You can tell he's bullshitting, allegedly.
As much as we can, and I'm just here until I get her. That's basically the deal. I can't tell you what I don't have to tell you what it's like to want to give up and not. But that was the craziest night drifting out in the Abaco Sea. That it was just.
Brian, you're the one that taught me how to get through my worst night. And it's the only reason I'm calling is because I know that God knows that these are the worst nights of your life, and I'm calling you. And all I've got to do is tell you that that dry bag has not been found, correct?
Jordan Lance. Okay, let's listen.
That dry bag is a flotation device, and we got to remember that.
Hold up, let me pause this because he knows where she's at. Allegedly, again, that's just my personal opinion. Maybe you think different, but he definitely knows where she's at. Come on now. I don't want to hear anything else. Like, dude definitely knows where Lynette's at. Just say it, bro. Come on. Just tell us where she's at. And what's up with these dudes beating women? Is that what a lot of these cowards do? They just beat the shit out of women now? That's why I be telling y'all, stay dangerous. That's why I be telling you, stay dangerous.
That's another thing she had. Can you please call Apple and start the location? We did not have SIM cards though. That's the up. And today I tried to get. Kind of hard to call.
Look, that shit makes me shake. I'm over here shaking just hearing that dumb shit. Like that, like a dude could put his hands on his wife, beat her, and then cop pleas on the internet and talk about his life. And like, bro, just talk about where Lynette's at. He should be on every platform. Instead, he's making a media run. Like, nobody finds that weird that he's making a media run. You're not coming to the people. You're running and hiding behind the media and your lawyer. You're a fucking coward. You don't care about where she's at, allegedly. You don't give a shit where she's at, bro. Like, you're doing a media tour on ABC and fucking CBS. Excuse my language. Dang. Screw it. I don't care. Whatever. It is what it is. Like, dude's literally doing a media tour talking about his wife, daughters, and his daughters, like, just putting their businesses, you Michigan and this, that, and the third, bro. Nobody asked about that. We asked about where she was, bro. Like, you're tripping. Just say where she's at. Stop being a coward. And that's what I think. I mean, I can clearly hear him walking away from the conversation. Like, listen, like, you talk about Lynette and he's over here cooking, talking about the kids. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It is. It's too weird.
With Starlink to do any kind of phone calls or texting. And today I went to go get a SIM card because that was another. Good cops. And there's a holiday. Every store was closed, and even the airport was closed on the island. And I don't even know what the holiday is. I don't give a shit. I'm like, holy. We did so many things wrong. Even I think my anchor dragged after I set it out. I'm pretty sure that must have dragged. I couldn't really tell in the chop and stuff because I don't have 10 feet of chain on the end of the anchor. I only have line. There's just
for your dinghy
things that,
or for your big boat.
My name is Lion Brian.
Now, is your big boat still where it was?
No, I just got that back into the harbor today. Yesterday was Sunday, Easter. Folded, but everybody.
What do the people think here, man? Hold on, let me see what y'all. What are your thoughts on this? Let me see. T-REV, remember the lady in Discord that had gotten beat up? Oh yeah, I remember that. We kind of helped her that night, bro. That is crazy. Like she came in and she posted pictures of her, like, and she was beat bad, and we actually made a phone call. I found out who she was, and we called that shit in. But she was beat, like getting beat bad, and we did call it in for real. And that motherfucker went to jail. Homie went to jail for beating her. But it was bad though. Like she posted a picture in Discord, and I mean, it was to the point you couldn't ignore it. Like her shit was busted. Her face was busted open. Like a lot of us, I think there was multiple of us in there were concerned, but I found out like her name and shit, and I was like, we gotta call this shit in. Like dudes over here beating the crap out of her. That's like I don't know. That makes me shake. I'm over here shaking right now talking about it because I can't. I dealt with it with my mom. I seen my mom getting beat by men and shit, and I've had to fight them. When I turned 13, we started jumping them. Like we started scrapping with these people. Like it's a serious thing that goes on, and a lot of women let it happen. And it you know, part of it's a control thing, so it's not all their fault. You know, it's 50-50. But the women y'all got to get the strength and walk away from these motherfuckers, because these dudes like that think they can beat you and hit you and shit. You got to protect yourself. You got to get away from it. There's always a way. You know, some people will crash out, but it's not. I'm big on it, you know? So you said, hello, Trev. Nice to see you back. Hello. What's going on, Monarch? Nice to see you. I appreciate you stopping in, my friend. Salute. But yeah, I appreciate that, Colleen. Nice to see you. Much love to you, too. It's nice to see you in here tonight. We appreciate you, my friend. You said it's all BS. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, T. This is best used to help. Yeah, for real, man. Like this ain't no fucking joke or no act or no game. Like I've lived and seen this pain. I've seen like what a woman can go through, like just watching my mom. You know what I'm saying? And that shit was a different type of pain for me, for my brothers. Like we seen that shit. You know, brothers, like I was the youngest, so I was around to see it a lot. You know what I mean? So like this hits a little different for me because like homie wouldn't do this around with men around. You get what I'm saying? He wouldn't do this allegedly. Again, it's all allegedly. If you haven't heard it from law enforcement, it is obviously not true. He's innocent till proven guilty. But again, that's just my personal opinion. I think something like that it was going down here. See that? Thank you. I appreciate that, Apple Bottom. Much love.
The wind blew us apart so fast that I think she tried to swim back to the sailboat, back to our sailboat, which was probably, I don't know, 1,000 yards or something.
Better off staying by yourself.
But the waves were 3 foot, and
if a dude's gonna put their hands on you, better off staying by yourself.
I was.
And that's the wrong one.
There, all the search boats came out, and the Coast Guard came out in the afternoon sometime, and everything was falling. The cops took me, and I showed them where I thought the dinghy was, you know, and the position and everything. Then they took me to the sailboat, and they searched the boat, and that's when I found out they wanted our passports, and that's when I found out that Lynette probably has them, and kind of a bummer for those guys for a minute, but they instead got the information somewhere else, and then they took me on the search and rescue boat and with the fire department, and we went around for hours and hours, and until about, I would say 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. And then we all just we headed in, and I just started it kind of hit me right then that we had covered so much territory. We went miles
Absolutely
and
not.
miles. I would say it took me probably basically a dinghy adrift. I was paddling, but with one oar on my knees for the whole time. But it still took me like probably 5 or 6 hours to get 4 miles. So
there we go.
Yeah, and that's when I kind of realized, you know, no one had come to look for me, so no one had yet found her, and so and so after that, I was 3 more hours at the cop shop making a statement, and when they let me go, the fire department brought me back to my sailboat, but it was too rough to go get the dinghy out of the beach, the little rocky beach where it beached it, and so stay on the boat all night last night. And you know, a couple, I guess the Bahamian police force put the word out on the Facebook groups and stuff, and so people did stop by to ask what they could do, but what the fuck, you know, I mean, when the sun goes down, there's nothing to do or see, and Other people were just kind of tourists, I think. But you gotta have the right attitude. So then the fire department brought me my dinghy. They went and got it themselves and towed it back.
You said what? Am I jumping ahead? But did you already talk about how they busted on where the Coast Guard say or saw where he really went? I think I did. I touched on a lot of things. I talked about a lot. You said he sounds so concerned. Thank you, Leisure Chick. I just never heard of a Dave tag before. What is that? Did you even try to find her, Joe? I will post a link for membership. I feel for her daughter. I couldn't imagine not knowing where my mom is, right, Monarch? I mean, I feel like you would be using your people a little bit more. And ain't even using your people, but use your resources. Like, he could be having the help from so many bigger YouTubers out here that are streaming, and they could, put it out in places and help put this story out to where maybe a couple professionals in this world that, if she was lost at sea, they could get the right resources out there. There's people to help. But instead, they hide behind a lawyer and what the lawyer tells them to do, make a media run, go and get on all these, news channels, mainstream media, and don't talk to the people on the ground level like anybody in the community on YouTube. Because there is people out there that want to help, and there is people that will push this story out there. But how can the resources be grabbed and how could it be pushed out there if you're not making the effort to do that? Like, you're basically hiding and lying, allegedly. From what we see, the information out there, when you take a look at this, it keeps indicating that this dude's a liar. So how do we believe? I know that, again, it's allegedly. If you haven't heard it from law enforcement, it is not true. But I just got to tell you, that's just my thoughts on this and how I'm looking at it right now. Like, dude's not putting himself in the right place. Like, dude, use the resources in the world. There is people that'll help. Stop. I don't know. It just seems like he wants to deflect and walk away from that conversation. And that's what I hear. And that's just what I think about it.
To me at the sailboat is about 10 miles from where I'm at now. And then one of them kind of came on board and took the wheel, which was Lynette's job, so I could get the anchor up. And so I'll be spending the next day tomorrow installing a windlass switch for the cockpit, because we have to do both. I'm single-handed now. And so my plan is, when these guys, or if these guys give up after Wednesday, I'm going back out. I'm going to drop the hook and I'm going to go in super close in my stupid dinghy until I find her around all those islands in this part of the Keys.
Because
man, I need my sounds in the building, man. What are we doing? Yeah, you can call. It's up to you. We'll get it back right, though. We're going to keep going. We keep working around this bitch.
Allegedly.
Hold on, let me get this right. Okay, I got that one. Is it echoing when I play that, y'all? Let me know if that's echoing. There we go. That's what I need.
Stop the cap.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party. So
there we go.
Let that man cook.
Straight up. They're on their way. Is that echoing when I play that? Let me know if that's echoing. Let me look at chat. Read that. I just want to make sure it ain't echoing. He said that was cap about 8 times. He never went back. He left Bahamas. That's a fact, Sandra. Why? And why though? Maybe because he had to work. I don't know. Garbage. I mean, his story doesn't add up. Hell no. Nah. DV involved makes it seem like he did something to her and threw her over, allegedly. Very evasive, dreaming up shit. He's hiding from all people. He hasn't seen or called since. Shake my head. That in no way is mourning your wife, in my opinion. Yeah, I know. I agree. It's a little bit off. right? You figure you'd be in the boats or you'd be plastering your voice everywhere, but instead we run the mainstream media. We don't even use the resources out there. You know how many people don't know about this case? A lot. There's a lot of people that don't know about this case, but you have stories like Carmelo Anthony out there right now, you know, people screaming race and all this crazy shit. You got the Carmelo Anthony case going on, and people are so deterred in viewing that. Like, no, people are overlooking these other cases that need light in America for real, and need resources and people who are professional in certain type of fields. You said echo? Okay, bet. I'm gonna fix it. I know what's going on. You said, and we back. I appreciate you, Tiffany. Thank you. 36 months in the building. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. FBI open up. I know I gotta download that one. I do love that one too. Salute to everyone in the building. Gold Dust, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Tiffany, though, 36 months. I really do appreciate that. Matt, that's to see like over 60 people, right, who have been members for all the way 15 months, all the way up, even 12 months. But a lot of them, 15 months all the way to 46 months is insane to me. And the fact that I have that type of support is why I'm back in form. You know what I mean? Like, first I had to find myself, gather myself, put my spine intact, and stop being a little bitch. But, find a happiness and peace in my heart so I can come back and do what I love doing. Because what y'all seen for the last 2 years is somebody who was angry, full of regret, and just wasn't himself. And clearly y'all, the people that rock with me and have been rocking with me for a while can clearly tell, right? Like, you can clearly tell. But when I say I'm back this time, I mean this fucking shit. I know I said it multiple times before then, like, I'm back. When I say it this time, I'm not playing. I'm not playing no games. When I say I'll be back live again tomorrow at 6 or 7, that's what the fuck I mean. Straight up. Like, so, brace up and get ready for it, because I am back in that mode. I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks. I don't care. It's not about what you think. It's about the story. It's about the vision. It's about what it's supposed to be about. And that's trying to help and give other people a voice who feel like they don't have a voice. 1 and 2, a lot of everything is getting buried in the darkness out here right now. Like, look at everything going on. Starting with that Carmelo Anthony case and the shit with Trump. And that's a whole different thing. We don't talk politics here, and I ain't going to talk politics, but there's just a lot. I've seen a lot of crazy shit these last 2 years just out working, just out working, seeing wild shit everywhere. The way that people are treated, the way there's no respect, the way you see no kids out playing no more, like, it's way different. So it looks like we got to adjust with the times. We do. We got to adjust with the times, stand together, and get back to this mission. And that's that. You said true crime. I appreciate that. Hey, T-REV, what's going on, Steph? Nice to see you. I appreciate you pulling up here tonight with us, my friend. Thank you. And we got Gold Dust in the building. Thank you. I appreciate you for joining. I remember you, Gold Dust. You've been around here for 3 years. Salute to you. I do appreciate you stopping back in. And again, it's new. We erase the old and come in with the new. No grudges. I don't dislike anyone, right? Like, people have talked about me, this, that, and the third, but I know my worth. I know who I am, and I know what I have to offer, and I know the passion in my heart that burns every fucking day. I know that, and I never lost sight of that, and we never will. So just brace up, and I'm coming back bigger, better, and stronger this time around. This time I got a heart of steel, and you can't get through that. You can't get through that force field. We're not talking. I don't care what you can bring up, anything from the past, anybody. It's not gonna faze me. That's just a disclaimer. We're knocking the walls down. We're getting back, and I know some people are gonna hate to see it, but you're just gonna have to deal with it, because this is my shit, and that's a fact.
Because there's no open ocean channel she would have been swept out into that I'm seeing on maps.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, brody.
There is. They call them cuts. So if you see something that says cut, that is where you can get out into the ocean, and it can be.
She definitely did.
Depending on what the swell on the Atlantic is coming, it can be calm and placid, or they will be going against the wind or the tide, and you'll get these short, steep
Thank you,
waves,
brother. I appreciate that.
short period steep waves and I've seen smooth like a motorboat, and I've seen sailboats just.
Appreciate you, Toledo. Thank you. Salute.
Get bent going out, trying to go out at the wrong time.
What
So
are
there
the
are some, but to
what-
get, I mean, go ahead.
what are the depths? Like where you're
Depths,
anchored?
Where are we anchored? What? I was anchored in 8 feet of water at being low tide, and at high tide it was about 10 and a quarter.
Appreciate that, brother.
So,
I appreciate that. That's
other
love.
depths were 5 feet at low tide. If you got onto a shoal or something nearby, like that's not really intuitive to a swimmer, especially.
Hold on, Tiffany. What'd you say? You said, "I don't know why anyone hates you. You cover true crime. Period. You don't give a fuck about it." Exactly. Facts. Tell them again. Tell them again. And again, I'm sorry I lost sight of that. Right? I don't know why. I think it got very personal for me, right? In a sense, like it got super personal for me. So I think that's why I was a little bit different. Like usually I ignore everything, right? Because it's why pay attention to a darkness or some chirping over here, right? Like, and that's how I look at it. But in a sense, I kind of went against that because it got personal to me. So it was like, living with regret and shit like that, you feel some type of way. And I don't know if you just got to go through it to go through it, right? That's just how it is. But I found that light again, and that's it. And there's nothing they can do about it because I'm gonna be here. You know how we put in the hours, baby. Come and stop me from putting these hours in. It just ain't happening. We're gonna be here 7 days a week. How about that? Nah, it's about 5. We'll do about 5 to 7. You never know. Some days, some weeks, maybe all 7, maybe 5. But yeah, we getting back on like that. We're coming back out. We're outside. We're outside for the summer and for eternity. We ain't stopping this time. There is no breaks. There's no such thing as a fucking break. Excuse my language, but hey, no breaks. All gas, no breaks.
You can't. No.
Yeah, I know. My thought is there's an island that, I mean, there's a dozen of those little sandbar islands that she could be standing on right now.
That's what I'm looking for, But just please take what I said about the cascade of failures. From having your own experience, I can't believe that happened to you with all those people on that awesome dinghy. Was it the good dinghy or the shit dinghy?
It was the dinghy, but it was every calamity I could have done wrong in one night.
I know.
Summertime, what's going on? You've always been here,
But
no doubt.
it's the Bahamas. There's 1,000,001 little tiny islands to search.
Right. All you got, and it's floaty. All you got to do is stay afloat. That's all I want for her is to have stayed afloat.
You know what? If the time that because I love I love the conversations. I love this, this putting the story, talking about it with you guys. That's what I love. I love that awareness that we've been able to spread the last and to do it 3 years consistently, right? Like that's big to me. Like, and I could never walk away from that. And if I'm gonna do it, I gotta do it full force, basically. You know what I mean? Like and again, we're getting back to it full time, right? Like that's how much I loved it. So every time that I tried to get on and do it, it just wasn't the right time at that time. But it is what it is. You gotta exactly, Joe. He said everyone has their own personal problems too. Can't let it get too deep. Things get deep. I've built a lot of relationships on here with people, like heart to heart, share stories, relate to people. And there's a lot of you that have came on here and shared a lot. You can't walk away from something that's so powerful that you're meant to do, that God showed you that you're meant to do, and keeps showing you and keeps pointing it out to you over and over again. You know, you can't ignore that. Trev, the OG true crimer on here. I mean, I've been here for a minute. Seems like you found you a good girl. Most definitely. A real one. The only real one I've ever met. You know what I mean? Like, that's a fact. There's the only real one I've ever met. And I'm not saying that to the chicks in here right now. Don't say it. That's not what I'm saying. But the realest woman I've ever met that tells the truth about everything. You know, somebody that, you know, I know is telling me what is being told to me is the truth. And it's not no bullshit. And it just shows. So, you know, for sure, like, it's different, and you never know what it is until you found it. I found it. It's different. It's a unique, rare type of thing. Like, and then that's when you stop giving a fuck about what anybody thinks, because it doesn't matter from that point forward. Like, the only approval I need is my woman's. That's it. Over here, like, that's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Like, that's it. There's it. Like, nobody else could phase me. Like, oh, there's this video come out about somebody. Oh well. Let them believe what they want. They've already painted narratives on my name. I'm not here to defend myself on some weird ass shit that people who rock with me, who really rock with me, know the truth. You know, we ain't preaching to the choir out here. We're staying focused on what's positive, the voice. I love it. I've always loved it. But where I was in my head and where I was at, I knew that I was living with a lot of regret in my life. And I wasn't able to be myself. So, you know, plus there were some other things going on, and people are weird, but I'm not going to put that information on the internet, because we're not here for that. We're here to give this woman a voice and give many others a voice and get back to cooking the right way and bringing that awareness that we always have. You said show is like no other. I appreciate that, Monarch, for real. I do. A lot of people say that. Bro, so many late night spirit boxes. Oh, yeah. I mean, my gift is a little bit crazy with the spirits, and I try to hone in on it. I think one's been trying to talk to me recently. Well, no, y'all know how that is. That's a whole different type of thing. You got to do you pretty bad, Brian, when your own friends don't believe you. That's a fact. Let me finish playing.
She had her bag. If she had her bag, she's got to float.
Yeah,
I've been kept afloat by a dry bag numerous times.
Like a pack half one.
Now, was hers like the little one, or one of the big ones?
Oh, I think it was the 5 liter or something, whatever. 10. Yeah, it was like one of the ones you would buy. She bought in Key West at one of the shops, so it's that size, you know. And that's anything bigger would be too big for anyone to carry. So I guess.
Right. The standard dry bag.
I respect it.
Yeah, it is a standard dry bag. I'm looking at mine right now, which I never had before. When she went over, she also
this
took
time
the house keys. When the cop.
Hey, I let the combat. I get it though. Yeah, no disrespect, nothing like that. You know, if it ain't in love and light, you can, you know, time them out. I ain't banning nobody though. Like, people deserve to have a second chance. They got to realize that, hey, life is short. It's not too late to turn that shit around, that darkness that you're living in every day. That, like, you got to keep coming in and like, you want to talk, go ahead. That's fine. Like, people been talking shit since the start of life. It's about, like, when we're giving it attention, so it gets a bigger light. When there's no attention put towards it, then, you know, like, hey, what are you talking about type shit? Or just ignore and act like they ain't there. See right past it. Pay attention to the positive, the light, the topics of discussion, those things, and not talk about, or, you know, these people who are hating, because that's a thing. Like, haters are haters. I love them. They help me out. Like, they've spread my name out. Like, shout out to the haters, man. I gotta hire one of y'all for real, because y'all been looking out for it's much appreciated, the love that y'all haters be showing. It is. We keep it coming. Keep it coming. Shit, if you want to interview, I'll even help you.
For here, I had to break into my own boat.
Me up. Just kidding about that part, but yeah.
I had my phone with me. It had 20% charge. No, you know, no SIM
I
card for the
appreciate that.
Bahamas. I just wasn't prepared, like I should have been prepared. That was this is what comes with that. So I gotta get her back, and we'll fix all those things. And but one thing I did not know is that until my daughter called me today is that this is on the national news, and it's just an Inside Edition tried to call me. Yeah, I don't. So yeah. Oh, what's up?
Hold on. He said, I miss your music. I appreciate that. I'm so glad to see you happy, T. That's what's up. I appreciate that. T-REV, maybe soon we can meet, see. You're incredible. Oh, yeah. Bro. Whenever she's comfortable. She's always more than welcome. He was brought in for questioning, but not charged yet. Yeah, I know. I seen that. Hard. I'm not even gonna call. I already know your name, right? I just don't want to put it on blast, but I'm gonna call you K. We're just gonna say K up in here. You might not want your name public, so I just ain't gonna say it. But okay, I see. Thank y'all. He didn't kill Lynette. Oh, Born. I'd like to hear about that. Call and enlighten us. We would love to hear about that. Not sure on his arrest stuff, but there was an interview T-REV played earlier. The DV was brought up. Yeah, it's right here.
Michigan mother Lynette Hooker falls overboard in the Bahamas, according to her husband, who managed to paddle ashore to safety. Tonight, the search for Lynette underway. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to say this is it right here. Hold up. Right? Was it here? Oh, yeah, you're right. I did play it. I know exactly what you're talking about. I think I got it right here. What Brian says happened to his wife. No, that's not the one. I'm going back in my notes real quick. Hold up. I know which one you're talking about, though. I definitely do. I just need to get to it. Is right about. Hold up. This one is interesting. Let me play that. 1 second. About to play it. 1 second. You're going to hear it. I got it. Let me get past this friggin' ad that it's showing me. Right there.
His future.
Oh, no, 7 more seconds. 7 more seconds, huh? Here we go.
U.S. officials zeroing in on new areas in the search for Lynette Hooker, the missing American whose husband says fell off their dinghy in the Bahamas. The 55-year-old mother has been missing since April 4th. The U.S. Coast Guard dive team on the water and the beach of an area called Snake Creek, just a quarter mile from the boatyard Brian Hooker says he paddled to the night Lynette went missing. The search resuming after U.S. officials tell ABC News GPS data from the boat Lynette and Brian were on appears to contradict his account of his whereabouts.
I don't know if it's true where you guys are at, but everybody in Bahamas uses WhatsApp, and I didn't have the ability to text anybody on those numbers until I got that installed.
Key, and it's only about 2 minutes away from where the Hooker sailboat
it's trying to get me out of here.
Lynette's daughter, Carly Aylesworth, says she's hopeful the new developments point investigators in the right direction.
Well, I'm happy they were able to get Brian's location and discover new areas to look. I'm just happy that they were able to find answers that were concrete proof of what happened and doing what they can to search for my mom.
Brian telling authorities the couple encountered bad weather while riding their dinghy to their sailboat off Elbow Key. He claims Lynette fell overboard along with the boat keys. Brian Hooker taken into custody days after his wife disappeared, held by authorities for 5 days, but they let him go without charges.
And I'm going to keep going. I'm not leaving until I'm told to leave or convinced that it's fruitless.
Brian.
Oh my God. He's cat. Allegedly. Hold on. Let me change this. Thought I found it. Right here. Give me 1 second here, y'all. I thought I found it here. Is that alligator? No, it's based on the new. No, it's not that one. I just had it. Where the hell? I got so many screens open. 1 second, y'all. Got so much stuff here. He reported a strong occurrence. Okay, I see that. I see that part. The one, oh yeah, that's right. I lost track. See, what's the one called? The one that you just showed me. I just had it pulled up and lost it. That's the one I wanted to play with mom. Lynette, hold on, I got you. Lynette. There we go. Right. Is it the one? It's 11 days ago. This one's a month ago. Hold up. Pull it like this. There. That's 11 days. Here we go. I got it.
Hey, News Nation YouTube viewers.
Here we go. Right here.
Super excited to bring you. We're not able to find Lynette's remains.
Let's pull it up here.
If you saw my episode, last episode, I told you that is one of the big takeaways. However, it should not, it should go without saying that just because they didn't find Lynette's remains doesn't mean they didn't get a lot of evidence. And they did. They got a lot of evidence from the Royal Bahamian Police Force, and they got the dinghy, which itself is a massive piece.
If you can explain it to me, Warren, I'd appreciate it. It's 757, the new phone number on here, right? If you want to, it's at the bottom of your screen, scrolling across super slow. Call us in and let us know why. Why do you think that? I'm just curious, bro. I would love to hear about it.
Of evidence with that engine on the back, the NT300. I've told you before that engine, unfortunately, doesn't record telemetrics, but that the batteries do, the batteries that it uses. I think that if Brian Hooker did the things we think he may have done, and he's not charged with anything, he would have probably gotten rid of the batteries with all the data, because I know he's a gearhead and he knows these things. However, the Bahamian police gave significant evidence to the Coast Guard, and it matters. And not only that, what's also important, according to my sources, is that what they did not find in places where they should have found certain evidence, according to Brian's story, that's also very, very telling in this case. So basically, if Brian's story is true, there should be certain things that they found along the way that were not there. And so it's proving this dispositive, right? Very, very important in this case as well. So they are not leaving empty.
All right. So the parents speak up here. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get to that, but I want to play this for y'all because it's information that, I've listened to it while I'm working, but I got a visual now.
Handed, and they said that this was a very worthwhile trip. I have one source that even said the words, he's fucked. So with that, I
say he's fucked.
Really wanted to speak with Darlene and Bill, her husband, about the significance of this trip. Obviously, they were hoping her remains would be found. This is their baby.
Nah.
They wanted Lynette home.
I'm not better at chasing tornadoes, bro. I'm better at doing this. What you mean? But I get it though. I know he say better at chasing tornadoes because that shit was crazy that I captured out there in Tennessee. I ain't gonna hold you, but nah, I drove right into one. I think. Swear to God, I thought I drove right into a tornado.
That's not happening yet. I say that because in these cases, it happens all the time that your first initial search, you don't find the body you're looking for. They could find it in another search. It might turn up unexpectedly. The Abacos are a heavily touristed place, loads of divers, loads of swimmers, very shallow, lots of locals on the shores at all times. So don't rule out that Lynette is going to be found, because I think that it's a good possibility she still will be. And when it comes to the statute of limitations on murder, I don't think I need to tell you, if you're on this podcast, there isn't one.
Feel the Brian Pert vibe.
But also, you don't need a body in order to prosecute. That's important. I've done many cases. No body, conviction anyway. So that's a critical piece of fact. You probably hear people say no body, no case. Horse shit. It's not true at all. That's somebody who's not in my business.
No body, no case.
I've seen it happen. I've been in the courtroom where I've heard the guilty verdict and the body was never found. So I just want to disabuse anybody who thinks that's true. It ain't. Something else I want to tell you about, piece of evidence, something I learned from my sources. Brian Hooker had this whole crap story that Lynette fell out on the way back to Soulmate. We never made it to Soulmate. our 46-foot Morgan keelboat that we lived aboard for 4 years. We didn't make it back to the boat, and I had no propulsion anymore. I lost an oar, and she went out with the keys. Baloney. In any case, you have to disprove his garbage, right? And so to do that, they traced his steps. Coast Guard traced his entire journey, traced the dinghy route that he took. And I have now learned that his dinghy route certainly wasn't what he said it was. Not somebody who's blowing in the breeze, the current and the tide. No. Turns out Brian's dinghy route went across from Elbow Key, across the Sea of Abaco to the north tip of Lubbers. That's something he already told us, right? And then, weirdly, it took a sharp turn left.
Hold in the chat.
Huh? And started going southward down the coast of Lubbers. Now I ask you, how does the wind do that and the tide? And then suddenly starts heading back to Marsh Harbor, right? Heading back west, heading in a western direction. How does...
Yeah, we're watching, if you're just coming in, we're about to watch the interview with the parents. She's about to talk to the parents. I read it earlier. I went over the actual article and read it to you, but we're listening to it.
How does that happen? How does that happen if you're blowing in the breeze? Because throw anything in the water and watch it float, there are no sharp turns. There just aren't. So anyway, I think that's what you call bad fact, really bad fact for Brian Hooker. So with that piece of like critical information and whatever else it is that the investigators were able to obtain from the Royal Bahamian Police Force, and I can't wait to find out. At some point I will. I don't know if it'll be before or after a trial. I would expect that the Coast Guard Investigative Service is going to be hard at work processing all of the evidence that they were able to obtain. And then, I don't know, maybe a whole lot of paperwork towards an indictment. So again, tick-tock, Brian Hooker, because murder's forever, and this is officially a murder investigation. You are suspected of murder, Brian Hooker. That fact is also a bad fact. So I want to introduce to you a couple that I've been speaking with at length for the last almost 8 weeks. Darlene Hamlet is Lynette Hooker's mom, and this has been hell. Just put yourself in her shoes for a hot minute and imagine what this would be like for you, waiting.
Yeah, I went over this article earlier. Y'all remember?
To know where your daughter is, what happened to her, waiting for her to be brought back to you. And her husband, Bill Hamlet. This is the first time we're having an opportunity to talk to Bill, so I'm really happy about that. Boy, has he ever been a stalwart for Darlene. So incredibly supportive and helpful, and a father figure to Lynette, really. So without further ado, here's my conversation with Bill and Darlene.
Where's this?
Quick note about this podcast and News Nation's coverage of the story as well. Jesse Weber, who is just chef's kiss when it comes to true crime coverage, is doing some amazing.
In fact, I'm
getting over. All right, let's get to the interview. Hold
I
up.
do
Pull it up. This is the interview.
For
the interview with mom. Here we go.
This must be such a disappointment to you that that Lynette wasn't found. It's a disappointment to me, and I'm not her family.
I'm not disappointed.
Really?
No, I'm not disappointed. In fact, I'm happy they were there because it shows that they believe, like we believe, that there was foul play and that he did, in fact, though not, as my friend would say, not indicted, not charged with anything.
Really nice.
Yet.
That there is enough meat on that bone that it bears looking at. So,
what do you make of this now that we all suspected, right? We all had an idea, but what do you make of this now that we know the map shows that he crossed from Elbow Key, past the north tip of Lubbers, and then suddenly takes a sharp...
There ain't no slow mode on chat or nothing.
Left turn and head south down Lubbers. That's not somebody who was blowing in the wind.
Billy, really nice.
No. If you'd ask me my personal opinion, I know Brian well enough.
Yeah, for sure. Ashley Banfield, and there was one other, or Nancy, but yes, for sure, they both have.
I've known him for 25 years. And in my own way, I tried to mentor him somewhat. It didn't help much because he's hard-headed, but I tried to mentor him in some ways. Brian does things almost like he doesn't play chess, but he knows the game. He's going to be one step or try to be one step ahead of where he thinks you're going to go. So if he did that, I didn't truly expect them to find anything, because I know Brian well enough to know that if he did that, if he had a position, that he was using that as a diversion. You see this, but I'm really over here.
I agree.
And even if he left the boat in a place for 5 minutes, he could have swam or scubaed out to some other area. So I'm not disappointed that they didn't find him. I really didn't expect them to find anything, to be honest. But I need for this to be over.
Yeah.
I truly need for it to be over, because it's impacting, and she doesn't see it, Darlene doesn't see it, but it's truly impacting her. And you can understand that. It would have an impact. But that impact is not positive. It's draining to cry every hour or so, to see something and just start crying, or to have a thought or see something on TV that causes you an emotional outburst. So it's very taxing. And I've told her, I'll say it to you, is that if Brian did, and we won't say that he did, but if he did, in fact,
there we go,
kill Lynette, he's not charged with anything yet. TikTok. But
Oh my God!
He thinks something.
He not only took one life, he really took a bunch of lives.
Yeah.
The impact he's had on Darlene and Carly is immeasurable. So,
Bill, this is our first interview with you, and I think it would really help the audience to realize how significant your relationship was with Lynette. I mean, stepdaughter, sure, but really more than that.
That was my baby. I mean, for 38 years, she's been a daughter to me. She's never missed a birthday or Father's Day. She called me and sang. I mean, that was my baby. The last thing I told Brian Hooker when we were in Fort Pierce, I told him that just before we left him, take care of my baby. And every time he's ever been around us and they left, that's the last thing I've ever told him was.
I read that. This is what I read earlier. I went and read the article about everything. That's what exactly I remember reading right there, is him saying that, take care of my baby. And it's, I don't know, like, dude just needs to come up off of that shit. I wonder if he took a lie detector test. I'm just curious if he took one of those. I didn't see anything about it, but I am curious.
Take care of my baby. And if you'll notice on one of the interviews, and I don't know which network it was on, whether it was CBS, ABC, whatever, he said, my biggest mistake is that I didn't take care of my wife. Yeah, because that's what I told him every time he saw me.
Yeah.
And I am very disappointed that he's not with her.
Darlene, tell me your thoughts.
Right. Like, how could you lose her at sea? It doesn't make sense, y'all. They deserve justice for sure.
Now that this operation in the Bahamas is wrapped up.
Well, I definitely believe that the Coast Guard did a heck of a job. I mean, they outdid themselves. So I'm not disappointed in what they had done. I'm pleased with what they have done. I don't think it's over. I want Brian to not sit there with relief. I want him to feel that it's not over. I want him to understand that I'm not going to go away until I find my daughter. and they're not going to go away
Looks like
until
her
they
mom.
put him in jail. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
TikTok.
You see the husband keeps going TikTok. Like he's like, time, bro. Time is TikTok. They're sending shots out on media too. I feel like they're in a media war now that I see that. It's like, okay, let me go out and do the right thing, get this lawyer and have this media run. And then on the other sense, now you got the parent, they deserve justice for real. They do. They're the ones who put a time, energy into everything in her life. You know? I'm just saying, it's just, yeah, she deserves justice for sure. And his story doesn't make sense. It just stinks. It just doesn't. Too many inconsistencies in Dude's story. And his GPS shit doesn't even add up to his story.
TikTok, I usually add something even worse on the end of that. But to that note, Darlene, everything that you learned from the Coast Guard, that map in particular, knowing what he said, what Brian said, and now knowing on the map what he literally did. Tell me your reaction to that, Darlene.
This is somebody that was his soulmate for 25 years, and he was going to stay there forever until he found her. He said he loved her. He did not treat her like he loved her. If he, in fact, did this to her, he took her last breath, and then he threw her away like trash.
That's a fact.
And I want his family to know that they need to be careful. And I'm going to tell them the same thing I used to tell my daughter every time I hugged her goodbye. Watch your back. That's how I feel.
Understandable. One of the comments that I learned from my sources was that they feel very confident that they're going to get this guy. I hope that at least brings some solace.
I really believe, or at least maybe I just want to believe, that this was an accident. To think that he would do this on purpose is just more than I want to believe. And now I think he's being cowardly.
Let that man cook.
And everybody deserves more than that.
Knowing his history and how he has treated Lynette in the past, what he has done and the things he has said, the allegation that he choked her almost unconscious and then the next day said, I wish I'd finished the job. Mm-hmm. How hard is it to believe that this was an accident?
I don't think it was an accident at all. I think it was an emotional response to something that she said or he knew was coming. I think that she was actually at the end of her rope with him. I think that she had given him more than enough chances. And I think that this is all a culmination of him knowing that he was about to lose a meal ticket. And she either said something and he exploded. And I think it went further than he intended for it to go. That's my thought process.
Agreed.
Well, once he got there, he just finished it. Rather than take responsibility for it, he just finished it. So
no way.
That's my thought process.
You said had 3 people go missing off a boat in Lake Michigan. 2 bodies floated alive to shore. 1 body sunk deep enough for lake undertows to hold him deep enough for weeks. Even cadaver dogs didn't smell him. Damn. Salute to Nightbot. Lynette didn't just work for AT&T. She climbed the poles. She worked like a man. And in my opinion, he thought he was walking away with her life and earnings. Damn. Angelica, I do got to give it to you, though. You be watching. You put me on to some good cases. I got to actually watch that. We got to watch that documentary that Angelica put me on to. It's the Burn Pile Murders. The Burn Pile Murders. For real. Melody Ferris Walker. That case is crazy. Like that case is crazy. The burn pile murders, that's wild. It is. I still want to cover stuff on that because I possibly think the son was involved, but that's a whole different type of conversation. I gotta make a video about that. Like that. No, that piques my interest crazily. That burn pile murders. Now, was she involved? Possibly, but the son, Scott, allegedly, he knows some shit though. Like that case was crazy. Yeah, that case is crazy. It is. And this mom deserves to know where her daughter is. Like the fact that she's alive still, and you know what I mean? Like you're supposed to you look at this woman. You're supposed to bury your mom, not your mom bury you. So, I mean, I don't know. And he keeps sending messages like TikTok, like, yeah. And I already know what he's saying. He's basically letting Brian know, like, bitch, your time, TikTok, click. It's clicking right now. They're coming. When we find it, we're coming. When they find it, you know what I mean? That's basically what he's saying. I get the message. It's hitting too.
My daughter loved him. With all her heart, she loved him. She went back hoping they could be happy. And if he knows
another case that's crazy is the crash, but that's a whole day. I know people are probably crashed out, but in general, like that is wild too. I've been sending an email still to Georgia Innocent. Yeah, it's Angelica. You put me onto some wild cases where I've like literally spent hours and hours and hours like watching a trial. Like I could probably rewatch the trial right now. When I get off here, I could throw it back on from day one. Like it's how crazy it was. It was wild for sure. You said I'm ready to talk about the crash. Yeah, we can do that tomorrow. I don't know. We're going live tomorrow too. So, on what? Yeah, I had to fix the seat. I need to get a different chair, especially when I'm here for 10 hours. Sitting in this bitch cooking for 10 hours because we're gonna be having some long lives in here this summer. We're turning up. We're definitely turning up. There's gonna be some long, drawn out 8-hour Johns like it used to be.
Knows anything else, if it's an accident,
from time to time,
just come forward.
That's up.
Just come forward. This is a hard interview because I was hoping they would find her, but we will find her. She'll be found. I'm sure of that.
And not only that, I've mentioned this to you before, that I have covered many cases that have resulted in guilty verdicts without a body being found. I
say a little earlier tomorrow. I'm gonna aim probably for like 6 tomorrow-ish, but don't hold a gun to my head. You know what I mean? 6 o'clock though, for sure. What's going on, Amanda? You said just stop by to say hey, hope you're well. Yeah, I'm doing great. Appreciate that. Shout out to you. Nice to see you, by the way. Appreciate you pulling up. But yeah, you said I've been sending. I want to hear more about the emails and stuff you've been sending to them. Kind of where your thoughts are with that, because it is crazy. I think they should run up on Brian and see if he runs at this point. I have been listening to the prison calls on Mackenzie. Yeah, see, stuff like that. I don't know if I want to. Maybe we could react to it live and then chop it up and upload it too. How about that? That's how we're about to start doing it. Reacting to it live and really talking about it. I think they should run up on Brian and see if he runs at this point. I did read that. That's funny. They're crazy.
I hope that also at least lends to the notion that justice may very well be in your future.
And it was wonderful to see the Bahamian Police and Defense working with the Coast Guard. That made me very happy. So I hope that the Coast Guard got some new information that they can use that will be helpful in this.
Yeah. That's a big part of this. The fact that the Royal Bahamian Police Force worked hand and glove with the United States Coast Guard Investigative Service and handed over that dinghy and the other pieces of critical
Eastern time
evidence. I mean, that's a very big deal. We are coming up on 8 weeks in 2 days. I'm recording this on June 5th, Friday, June 5th. As of tomorrow, it'll be 8 weeks. So to see that evidence turned over to the Coast Guard for processing, that's also, again, got to feel at least like progress.
We're going to be going. We'll talk crash. I don't know. Maybe the crash tomorrow.
Yes, it's been a long time. That is definitely progress. Yes.
What is your message to Brian?
One thing Brian always has said is he wanted to be off the grid. This was so big to him. He didn't want anybody to tell him what to do, where to go. So I think if he looks on the internet and sees his name plastered everywhere, that is something that's never going to happen to him unless he gets a new name or until he's arrested, and then he'll be off the grid for good.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, he certainly will be off our grid if he's arrested and convicted. And again, he's not charged with anything. He's innocent until proven guilty. He is not charged with any crime yet. But if that does happen, no one has to ever hear from him again. But the concern is there. I know a lot of reports have been out there that he's fled the country. I have sources that have said that's absolutely not true. But do you think that's something he would consider doing if the heat turned up so much so that he thought an arrest was imminent? Do you think he would somehow escape the country without going the usual means of airplanes and boat tickets and customs and immigration?
There's only one thing that I've heard, and that is that he has a brother in California that has a cabin in the mountains someplace that has no electricity, no phone service, and very few people know that he even has it. And so it's a getaway place that they talk about being
off the grid,
so as to speak. And so that's the only thing that I can think of that he could probably do. Anything else, he's going to probably need a passport. And guess what? Those passports have names, and if you're on the watch list, you're not going anywhere. So
I'm glad that you told me about that cabin because that makes it not so much off the grid anymore. That makes it very public. That makes it a place that is no longer a secret.
That's what I said.
You know, I'm glad that we can have a chuckle. This is this has been such an incredibly sad time these last 7+ weeks. But I'm going to say, you know, you've both handled this so stoically. I hate asking the question, how are you holding up?
I need to turn that night bot down. It's a little bit extra. I think I need to turn that down a bit. My bad.
I can't imagine that you are. But how are you managing these extraordinarily difficult weeks?
Well, we go to counseling once a week. That has seemed to help because you can.
They're already going to counseling too. Just imagine that. I don't know. It's doesn't make any sense. Like he could just tell them where they are. Like I said earlier, that's what I truly believe too. Allegedly,
release some of the negative.
No evidence to prove it, right? But it's fucking lies.
And get feedback about how they think. Almost like I'm gonna say it. Almost like a psychologist. Well, she is a psychologist, but like a psychiatrist almost. And so it's helped. It's helped, and that's one of the ways we do it. The other thing is that I try because the impact.
That's right.
It's always going
to for the algorithm. If you're just coming in, smash the like button, share the stream. That's how you got to do it. Come on, I don't even know what the likes are at. Don't care. We'll smash that like button. It's a way to support.
Be harder on.
It's free $99
than a father, and I try to support Darlene as much as possible.
I think the thing for me is there's so many emotions, so many. I mean, I'm heartbroken, and I'm mad, and I'm angry, and I'm disappointed, and just the whole gambit. It's everything. So, and somebody tells you it's okay to have all these feelings, it makes you feel a little bit better, you know.
And one other thing, from a personal standpoint, sometimes I feel a little guilty about her having a job at AT&T. I got it for her. It was nepotism at its best. She never even took a test to get in, and that's unheard of in today's society. But I got her in, and she was excellent.
And everybody loved her.
and everybody, the people that surrounded her always gave me feedback on how she was doing, and she was dedicated and determined, and that was Lynette. Most women didn't climb telephone poles.
Right.
And she was scared to death. And she called me and she said, "How do I do this?"
Okay, dude, all right. Just climbing telephone poles, a woman, that's pretty heroic to do, right? Like one time I worked for about 9 months. I used to hang off buildings and have a bucket have the bucket hanging from the hook, like and as you sit in the seat and you're literally going up 27 stories. Look up the Norfolk Southern building. I did that. We had a bucket and a squeegee. That, I'm telling you, I can relate with that. Like it's spooky. Just heights in general. Like if that line goes, you're gone. So like that's pretty, you know, you got to be tough and be brave to get up on those poles like that. For sure. Now I know exactly what he's talking about.
How do I not fall? And what I did is I prepared her for falling by getting a leather vest so that if she clung to the pole, she wouldn't have splinters in her breast, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that was my baby.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've spoken to her coworkers at AT&T, and your description is spot on. They loved her. They said she was a delight. She had a bright light. They enjoyed the moment that they go into the room and she'd be in there. And the exact opposite was the description of Brian. They said he was the most difficult person they'd ever come in contact with, that he wound up the employees unnecessarily so. He was supposed to be a leader. He made their lives hell. It was truly the absolute opposite description. And these are from colleagues who, you know, they don't have any reason to say otherwise. They offer, you know, this is a hard question to ask and you don't have to answer it. And I feel as though you might have been waiting for this week to be over before making plans going forward for Lynette. Is there a thought about a funeral or a memorial for her?
Well, Darlene talked to when Dan and Kathy, her father and his stepmother were here.
DNA, the day we gave our DNA.
The DNA day. Darlene brought it up, but we got no response.
Well,
DNA day.
It's just, we're not ready to talk about that quite yet. But yeah, we know. We all know. It isn't that we expect Lynette to come back. It's just, yeah, we know we have to do that. Yeah. That's all I can say on that.
Understand. I often say this is a club that you have joined. You had no intention of being in this club. You did not want to be in this club, and you are in this club, and it is a very exclusive and rare club, and navigating it is hard. I keep saying the best way to exist in that club is to reach out to others in the club and also lean on your support systems. Just like that. Just like that.
I think the thing is just stepping forward. You just don't know what to do next. You know, this is over, now what? You know, because I still don't have Lynette. So.
Yeah, anybody who asks about closure doesn't understand that there is no such thing as real closure. You can't do that. You can't ask for that. You can try to get close, but you can't. It'll never really exist, you know, and people think it might, but only you know that. Hey guys, let's stay in touch, and thank you for this. And if there's anything we can do here, you know, we're in your corner.
And thank you, Ashley. We really appreciate you. You've done a yeoman's job.
Not over yet.
We truly do appreciate you. I know. I'm just saying. We want you to know that we appreciate what you've done so far. We know there's more to come.
You know how I usually end things, right? TikTok.
Oh yeah.
TikTok.
TikTok. Yes. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. A great thanks to Bill and Darlene.
Yes, he does. He's got him on a timer. TikTok. Yes. Wow. What was I looking for? Oh, this one right here? No. Oh boy.
Promising to stay and look for his wife during our interview.
I promised to stay, y'all.
The next day, his Bahamian attorney telling us he wanted to be with his terminally ill mother. 2 months later, Carly remains optimistic.
I just hope you're still out there. I have doubts with how long it's been, but I love you and I hope I can see you again.
Carly says that she has not spoken with Brian since the day after her mother went missing. The Coast Guard will continue their search today. Guys.
Just imagine if that's your mom. All right, Victor, thank you.
Yep. That's the one that I wanted to finish, that one. And it says the daughter of Lynette Hooker, an American woman who went overboard in the Bahamas and vanished 2 months ago, is grateful the U.S. Coast Guard and dive team is on the scene.
Kitty.
It says they're on the scene. She has to be somewhere, so all the help that we could get is greatly appreciated. Hooker's daughter, Carly, told ABC News. They have pictures of the Coast Guard right here. I'm going to pull them up. Hold up. Here we go. .jpg. That's what we got to do. Boom. Here's one. Coast Guard out there right there. I don't know. It's a little squirrely looking, but there you go. That one. There's another picture here. Was it Coast Guard up out this joint? Let me save this file too. Yep, the Coast Guard. Let me pull this up here. Brian says Lynette. Here it is right here. Here's the first one. Let's play this. This is. I did see
People are
this
building
one.
things in America.
Skip through this ad. Why do they got ads on here? They need to take them off. It's annoying. I don't like it. Weird ads. Hold up. 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6. I need my get the fuck out of here button. I'm missing a lot of buttons. I gotta download those back tonight. I only got 3 over here. What are we doing? Shout out to the people in the building.
Block his ass.
All right, I gotta get my sounds back too. Hold up.
Into custody. Police say they're now questioning 59-year-old Brian Hooker after announcing a criminal investigation. His attorney not elaborating on the case.
Here it is right here.
Can your sunglasses?
Let me pop this right here. There's a little. Let's mute that down right there. Try to make something here. Remember how we do? Hold up. There's that. There's that. I can't hear it. I'm dead. Hold up. Right there. Here we go.
This morning, the husband of Lynette Hooker, the Michigan woman missing after reportedly falling off a boat in the
It's all
Bahamas,
right, buddy.
has been taken into custody. Police say they're now questioning 59-year-old Brian Hooker after announcing a criminal investigation. His attorney not elaborating on the case, only saying that Hooker categorically denies the allegations made against him. Hours before his arrest, Hooker released a statement saying, "I am heartbroken over the recent boat accident that caused my beloved Lynette to fall from our small dinghy," adding he made desperate attempts to reach her and the ongoing search.
Small dinghy. Why does that sound crazy?
Hours before his arrest, Hooker released a statement saying, "I am heartbroken over the recent boat accident that caused my beloved Lynette to fall from our small dinghy," adding he made desperate attempts to reach her and the ongoing search for her is my sole.
I tried to reach for her, then I floated in. Right. My name's Brian.
Focus.
Come
Police
forward,
say
buddy.
Hooker told them he and Lynette were in an 8-foot dinghy Saturday night on their way to their sailboat when they encountered bad weather and Lynette fell overboard with the key to the boat. Authorities say this is the flotation device Brian says he used to try and save his wife. They say he then paddled back to shore and reported her missing at around 4 a.m. Sunday.
My mom and him got married when I was about 4, so he's always been in my life.
Lynette's daughter, Carly, told ABC station WZZM she recently began to have concerns about the couple.
I know they have been drinking more often and problems arise when they drink. They were sober for about 1.5 years because they knew about the problems when they drink. And then they started drinking again when they were in Key West. And I had a feeling it was going to start to go downhill after that.
Earlier this week, Carly called for a complete investigation, saying her mother is a good swimmer.
In a statement to the Daily Beast
Facts.
before his arrest, Brian Hooker denied allegations that his stepdaughter has made about his relationship with his wife.
Right. I don't know. BS. He said, damn, didn't even throw her a life jacket. Right. He's denying the allegations, though. I need to go and work on this, though. I'm about to hop off here for tonight. We're going to be back on tomorrow. Make sure y'all lock in. I got a few things I need to go work on. I need to get the rest. I need to download the rest of my sounds. I need to, I need to fill this board up. I need to upload a video on, regular content. And then I need to fix up a few things on, I actually need to erase the store and remake it from scratch. I'm going to do that too. There's a lot of things that I need to work on. We're going to be back on tomorrow. You can email cases, revgangtruecrime@gmail.com, or you can hit up or text it to 757-276-8703. We're going to get it circulating. I appreciate everybody who joined me tonight. Salute to you. I love you. I'll see you again tomorrow. Love and light to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you. Let me see. Let me remove this too, by the way, so it's not being weird for us. Where's it? Right here.